you don't exist. Take a perk and a talk of that shit. Money swallowed like sis. Did it perfect in the kid. Got a billion who sang on my head. Look at better put on the road I just spent. I know we got $1 million. The devil that shit ain't not cheaper again.
Hello and welcome back, fellow anime lovers, to MangaMuse. I am delighted to have you join us once again in the world of fanfiction and fantasy. This is the 7th part of What If Deku Enters Welcome to Demon School. Special note, this fanfic is written in a masterpiece of 616 MCU and Hazzard Overflow on FANFICTIONnet and AO3. Do check and support the authors too. Now smash the like, share and subscribe button for more. Also press the bell icon so that you never miss such great parts. Thanks for the introduction. Now let's dive into the world. Regardless, I need to vote for Amory. If there is going to be someone in charge, let them be sensible, powerful, and reasonable. As Mdois spoke. This was not sane, and she was weak. She didn't know why she thought for a second she could pull this off. Amory Azazel. Her meek and quiet voice disappeared amongst Ranov's fans chanting his praise. Even if she could have her voice heard, she doubted anybody at Beyblades would be willing to listen to her by now. Her voice disappeared as her ears flopped. I'm not strong enough to reach them. It's too late. I'm sorry. Quitchelite, Smoke, Johnny, Grave, Izzy-kun. It wouldn't be all bad. Everyone else would have more fun with Ranov in charge, and Izzy-kun would still be there for her. And maybe, when she is ready for it, she'll be able to lift the sadness from his heart. I want to say to the students. She was drowned out by the sounds and cheers of everyone, unable to even hear her own thoughts. She would lose, and that was fine. She had no ambition. That's an ideal, not an ambition. Thank you, Amory-san. Huh? Is that what you're willing to settle for? If I stop now, all the love, time, and support people gave me will all be for nothing. Why was she remembering those words now? I'll always give everything that I am, even if there's nothing left to give. That's what going beyond means to me. Going beyond, going to improve day after day. She could see him, looking at her in righteous fury. Fury on her behalf. He looked like he was minutes away from causing a scene just to get the crowd to shut the hell up. He couldn't do that. He would ruin himself. He would be dragged down. Why did he always have everyone's burden on his shoulders? Why wasn't there anybody willing to help him? There wasn't anyone. He didn't have his father even at a young age. He didn't have friends other than the ones she separated him from. He didn't have family other than the ones she barred him from, because she wanted to spend time with him. This was her fault. Tear. It was her fault he was alone, that he had no support at this very moment. Tear. It was time to stop whining, holding back. Tear. It was time to take on the rest of the pressure she's been putting onto her kohais. Snap. And the first stop to doing that was to tear off this ridiculously constrictive dress. Are you all? She shouted, grabbing her tie as everyone stopped shouting. Satisfied with something as simple as fun, she, Amory Azazel, shouted as she ripped off that bow. Are you all so unmotivated, so lazy, so pathetic, that you're willing to coast on by with simple pleasures? Where is the drive? Where's the passion? Where are the exceptional demons I know you all are? Everyone stopped chanting. Even Ranov stopped his annoying singing for once to listen to what she had to freaking say. The phrase from a foreign land, plus ultra. Have you heard of it? It means to go beyond one's limits, and then some more. With this one phrase, the impossible becomes possible. Haven't you the slightest idea what this could do for you? To reach forward to your ambition? Or did you forget you even had those, you miserable BSTRD? Everyone still stayed silent, either keeping their eyes on her, or on Izuku for those that recalled his earlier speech. Izuku himself slowly lifted the seething anger from his face, and something more hopeful appeared in its place. The kindest, most caring demon I know lives by these words every day. He's been beaten, ostracized, bullied, and called insane on multiple occasions, and yet he's the strongest student in Beyblades because he lives for his ambitions. He goes beyond no matter what anyone has to say about it. He never settles for less. What about you? Toiling away with your fun and lounging in pleasure. Do you not seek to become stronger, to follow through on your ambition, for something as simple as this mediocrity? She gestured to all of Ranov. Hey. So follow through, become the better and more exceptional demons I know you can be, that you know I can help you be. She PND her fists on the podium. Because I know that from here on out, I will always go beyond, plus, ultra. Plus ultra, plus ultra, plus ultra. The student body shouted, as they should. She looked at them, one cheering the brightest in her eyes. The green head of hair that shouted with kind eyes and a smile that pushed her as she pushed him. The face of someone she loved. That went well. Izuku spoke, and it was true. They only had one casualty, the complete and utter body cast that now forced Quitchelite to be bedridden. Otherwise, no one got hurt, and they won by a landslide too. You were able to reach their hearts, Amory. I knew you could do it. You really have a habit of selling yourself short, danger junkie. Smoke swung her arm around his neck. They wouldn't have listened to us if you didn't grab their attention first. Even if Quitchelite was a moron, your ideas did hold merit, and we ran fast with them too. Johnny complimented with a smile. It's our fault for our ignorance in your planning. We should celebrate tonight. 2 beans and juice in the house. Graves smiled. Yes, more sustenance. Hurry. Quitchelite spoke from his full body cast. It was a bit much, but who was he to argue with the guys that could snap his spine in half with one hand alone? Amory nodded at the group. You all truly did splendid work. I'm proud of you all. The president's smile was worth more than anything. It even looked intimidating enough to be reassuring in all honesty. Anything was better than worrying about being Kakeru. Ronov lost. Ronov must disband. Spoke the pile of petals on the couch. Ronov went through with it all, only to truly lose everything in the end. Now then, confess your crimes, Johnny shouted at the man in question. Fine, Ronov did eat a puppy. But it was only one, and it was out of survival desperation in a locked room. Holy SHT, he thought that was one of the made-up ones. UFCK monster. Smoke reads everyone's minds. But we were referring to what bullshit spell you put on our president. What? He shouted, jumping up. Ronov may strike when the opponent is weak, but Ronov will not resort to underhanded tactics, Ronov. He's right, you know. Izuku had called the attention to him once more. Again, Ronov's not the kind of person to plan this far ahead. He's too egocentric to think about anything like his future. Ronov, the man treated that like a compliment and beamed. He didn't have the energy to argue after today. Anyway, I got an investigation. They found the guy, and they should be here right. Izuku turned expectantly to the door, only to hear the shattering of glass as Clara came flying in on a rocket with the magical apparatus battler and a tied-up man. We really should reinforce. He was cut off by the group hitting him head-on. You moron, could you have said how urgent it was? We would have joined you had you fully informed us, as admonished him. I missed the ballot because of that. Seriously, Izuku, you got to give full context next time. Your lucky Karori texted me everything that was going on. Gakko rubbed her forehead. My vacation was way too short. Yeah, I could have taken so many blackmail pics and sent them to the photography battler in order to discredit Ronov, Inko shouted, offended. Hey, Ronov shouted indignantly, which was ignored again. Izuku-kins, it was so much fun. Old man senpai kept wiggling and squirming around when I pointed my water pistol at him. It's like he thought it was real or something. So imaginative, even if he's a creep. Clara was Clara as usual. I missed you all so much, he couldn't help but wrap his arms around them. Inko and Clara were the closest while Az and Gakko joined in after a moment of hesitation. So, sorry to interrupt, but you said you had the culprit? Smoke asked. Oh yeah, the creep here had a bunch of photos and chemicals stored up. Obsessive, I say. Gakko grumbled. Seriously, Johnny grabbed the man. Who was it? Which battler did we take down to get this kind of revenge? None. My motivations are far more complex for the likes of you to understand. The culprit walked up to the battler room, tied up in Clara's lasso. My love for Amory Azazel burns like no other. I admire her confidence and ambitions, but I never got to see it bloom into origin. I never saw who she was as an innocent, dainty schoolgirl. Laugh all you want, but my ambitions have sowed fruit. In all honesty, after Kiriwo, that was kind of underwhelming. Izuku felt the need to mutter. I pity this man, Az said. So much talent wasted on a stupid fantasy. Just because you had a lovely dream, doesn't mean you can cross the line, you monster. Wow, Inko seemed to take this personally. You can keep Lady Red Hair, just don't get Izuku-kins in trouble because of it. He really needed to get to the bottom of Clara's dislike for Amory. When's the legal drinking age around here again? Note to self, keep Gakko away from any vices. Too young for anyone to enjoy it. As agreed. Minute. So it really was an over-obsessed fan. Johnny muttered. Son of a beach, Midoriya was spot on. You should have bet on it. Clara pointed out. Great, the one bet he could have won. Well, at least until the evil cycle 1 ran its course. He was human after all. So then, a cold chill ran over the room. You wanted to look at me, right? He could feel the gates of hell open themselves. Then how about I give you a front row seat? Amory gave a wicked smile. Let's give him the training regimen, times 50. No, my ambitions, grave, Johnny, and Smoke dragged him out of the room, and not a single soul felt sorry for the man. I'm glad it's finally all over. Izuku found a seat to rest on. You really do all this every day? You were going plus ultra long before you met me. Izuku. Guess the spell lingered a little. I can't express how grateful I truly am to you. If it wasn't for you, I would have given up on my own dreams so easily. You could probably run the council yourself if you gave it enough time. Dear Divino, if I ever talk that scary again, I want everyone in this room to either hit me as strong as possible or murder me. Izuku spoke with absolute sincerity. Done. Az spoke without hesitation. Truly a man he could count on. Regardless, I will offer to join you permanently, if you wish. So he was also right about that. Minute again, he needed to get in on more betting pools. The council is full of passionate, driven, and caring demons like you. You'd fit right in. Don't do it, Izuku-kins. She's trying to S-duck you again. No, I'm not, Amory shouted with a blush. Oh, why does this have to be so strong? I want to be around Izu, but his uniform is so handsome. But I won't get to talk to him, but I'll gather more pictures of him and Amory together. What do I choose? So in the case he doesn't choose to come back, is the spot at the Black Magic Battler open? Gakko asked. Asking for a friend here, obviously. Quiet everyone, let Izuku actually make his choice. Az silenced the room. I hope we can still be friends if you choose to stay. Thanks, Az. It's actually harder to make than I expected it to be. Izuku looked at his right palm. For years, the only thing I ever had to live for was a shallow hope of a dream. But being here at Beyblades has changed so much in so little time. And if I joined the student council, I could only become a hero faster. Everyone stayed silent, no one uttering a sound. But I keep going back to what you told me, Amory, about the difference between having ambition and having ideals. Since living here, I finally realized I don't just have to live for my ambition. I can live for my ideals too. I can choose the things that make me happy in life. I can choose to have friends that care about me as much as I care about them. He bowed his head respectfully. I respectfully decline your offer, Amory. I'd like to go back to the magical apparatus battler. She stared at him with an unreadable expression, before giving him a warm smile. If that's what you wish, then who am I to say no? She went over the binder with their files. And after successfully completing your trial PRD, as well as helping multiple battlers at once with numerous cases, I see no reason why not to reinstate the magical apparatus battler. She placed a stamp on it. With President Izukumidoriya in charge. Wait, President? I could just be the Vice President or something. He tried to reason. Well, it's that, or we let Eligos actually be in charge. He needs to stay somewhere, and you still need a third year. I'll take the presidency, please. I told you guys Izu was our leader, and you thought I was exaggerating. We get it. He's the friendship MSTR. No need to rub it in. Az groaned. My past self would mock who I am now. Your past self was a butt monkey jerk. Clara happily cleared up for him. Seriously, can I stay in the Black Magic Battler? So much chaos in a single group, and yet you and friends might be the best examples of exceptional demons I have ever encountered. Amory spoke, a smile on her face. Don't count yourself out, Amory. You're my friend too, so you're a part of the Calamity cult no matter what. Izuku shrugged sheepishly. I hope you don't mind. The group started to make their leave. Not at all, Izzy-kun. The others stopped and turned with wide eyes, gapping. Izuku-kun DMNet, that better leave soon or I'm pulling out the spike on that illego's BSTRD butt. Alright then, I believe it's best to head out. School is almost over after all. Izuku said, noticing the time. Whatever you say, Izzy-kun, as teased as he left. I will call you Alice if you keep that up. And I'll roast you alive. And I'll steal your magic so you won't be able to. Heh Izuku-kins, Clara loudly said, is so much funnier now. Izzy-kun, really? Gakko rolled her eyes. Now it's just getting ridiculous. She just really appreciates him, as we all should, Aiko blushed. Was she catching something? She always seemed to have some sort of fever. Maybe a threesome isn't impossible after all, huh? Izuku? Amory stopped him. I'll see you around lunch tomorrow, right? She asked with a warm smile, which he returned. Of course. It was nice to see everything go back to normal. Happy welcome back party, Izuku-kun. The scene Izuku walked into was Sullivan shouting this, banners everywhere as the old man clotheslined him for a hug. Opera giving a monotone clap he couldn't tell was sarcastic or not, and his mother looked exasperated. Grandpa, this is the 5th party this week. Izuku deadpanned at the man's behavior. I get that you missed me, but don't you think this is a little overboard? Pish-posh, there's nothing that I wouldn't do after that horrible woman took away my little Izuku-kun for so long. Huh, so it was possible for Grandpa to hate someone. Then again, he's only ever seen the side of him that's constantly giving affection to either him or his mother. Grandpa, Amory is one of my friends. Besides, the position was always going to be temporary. He thought maybe at some point he could join again, maybe at his 3rd or 4th year at Beyblades, but he couldn't think much about it with his mom giving him a teasing look. Another lady friend? Inko asked with a sly grin. No, not again. Mom, it's not like that. She's a friend. We just read together sometimes. He couldn't escape misunderstanding even in his own home. What do you read? First Love Memories, he said with a slap on his mouth the moment he finished. He was used to lying at school. He didn't really have anything to lie about at home, at least now with Kachan and the others no longer tormenting him. So a romance manga? Are you sure nothing is going on? She asked, and now he realized this was going to be a consistent new torture. Please Kachan, kill him now. Oh, speaking of friends, they never got the chance to celebrate your return. Actually, they did. It consisted of Aiko and Clara fighting each other over who would make the return to Battler cake and as accidentally blowing it up when one of the candles turned out to be a fuse. Oh, why don't you invite them over to hang out? Mom asked. Like a sleepover, or at least until it gets late. They could join the party this time. That sounds amazing, Grandpa exclaimed as he stood up. A chance to show off to Izuku-kun's friends. Oh, so many faces to spoil, it'll be great. Shall I prepare the party lights and games? Or the campfire where we can tell traumatizing tales of the occult? Opera put on a party hat with no hint of irony coming from him. Guys, you're really blowing it out of proportion. We hang out enough at school, no need to overwhelm them or give myself the chance to humiliate myself in front of the only real friends I have. The 3 adults raised an eyebrow at his pessimistic tone. What? This is the kind of situation I have nightmares about. Izuku, Katsuki is no longer a part of our lives. His mother calmly reaffirmed. I've met your group of friends, believe me, I can tell they're good people to keep around. Even Az is a good friend, if he's had to put up with that crazy mom all this time. She grumbled about the last part. And besides, the best case scenario is that the night goes excellent. The probable case is that Mr. Sullivan humiliates himself. Opera ignored the shout of indignation from the man in question. The worst case is that they tease you for all the posters in your room. Izuku blinks on that. Shoot, his room. He needs to put everything in the closet. All right, I'll call them. Just try and keep it mellow. He got up to leave. And don't expect a big turnout. I'm sure they're all very busy right now. The turnout was literally everyone. Specifically, it was all the members of the young MSTR's Battler. They would have personally extended the invite to some of his other class members, but maybe that would be putting too much pressure on Izuku. There was a fine line when it came to serving and teasing in this house. This house is so big, Valak shouted with wide eyes. You have stairs, you have windows bigger than my body, you have lights. Seriously, how bad is your home life? That's just normal house decor. Asmodeus reprimanded. Like the chandeliers and golden plating. Okay, you both have very warped perceptions of normality. Inko spoke as she glanced at the two. Especially you, as you could learn a lesson or two in humility from Izu. You don't hear him brag about his home life. Being in the group alone is a humbling experience. Gakko spoke with an eye roll. So many colorful demons. Maybe Izuku intentionally ran into oddballs to make up for his supposed plain looks. Nonsense. He was adorable when he dressed like that blonde bunny hero. Guys, you came. Yay, Izuku weakly roared. Being in the student council must have been more draining than he expected. This party now was absolutely necessary. That's what they would tell the young MSTR at least. Of course we did. I'll go anywhere you go. Izu-kun, Inko cheered. I'm not missing the chance for some fun games. Clara gave an impish smile. And it was either come willingly or my mother comes alone. I feel I made the right call. I mostly came because I had no other plans. Gakko gave a shrug. It was this or stuff some mushrooms and stars in floating bricks. Everyone gave her a look. My dad has some weird hobbies. Is your dad? Nope. I'm already questioning reality enough as it is. I'm not going to break my brain any more than I need to. Izuku groaned. So stressed. The boy really needed to let loose a little. All right, come in, and don't mind Grandpa. He's a bit overcaring at times. The boy was proved right as all the lights cut out, following a spotlight shining down on MSTR Sullivan with a top hat, dancing shoes, and a cane purely meant for appearances. Welcome to my humble abode. He let himself fall on the floor, only to roll and come back up standing as straight as ever. So nice to see the adorable faces my beloved Izuku-kun has gone on and won about. You've really brought a nice shining smile to his face. It's just too cute for this world to handle. Sullivan buried his hand in Izuku's hair in endless ruffling. The boy himself grabbed his own face, likely to muffle a scream. Don't worry, clearly they would see it's the man's fault, not yours. Ah, Izu's a little grandpa's boy, so adorable. If only he had his bunny suit on. The Inko girl squealed, obviously a girl of high intelligence. You told him? Why would you tell him? Izuku asked his friend. Sorry, he already knew, right? Inko turned to the chair demon. I would have, but Caligo keeps destroying the cameras I place around the school. The moment he stops is the moment I stop making him use the cute little TV player. Little known fact, his MSTR was a man of spite. He didn't mind, his kohai needed to learn how to lighten up a little. Bunny suit? Inko walked in to greet her son's friends. Izuku, is there anything you'd like to? Nothing, absolutely nothing, he shouted louder than he needed to. It's all right, young MSTR. Opera comforted with a shoulder pat. I have a fondness for cat ears myself. I'm not a furry. Tonight was going to be fun. It's all right, Izuku-kins. I dress up like a puppy for Sin and ran all the time. It's the best way to get smiles from people. Velak introduced her own brand of logic into the conversation. Really, Izuku genuinely took it into consideration. Well, the transformation at the division party did make me look like a SK Vader, but I'm not sure if I could make it look cute enough. Is getting smiles from people the easiest way to just get you to say yes? Asmodeus asked with a curious look. It feels you're willing to put up with a lot for that. Like the time we all did the Velak was promptly tackled by Gakko and Asmodeus. Don't say it out loud, you maniac. That's supposed to be our secret. Gakko placed her scaly hand on the girl's face. But I told my mommy about it, so you should probably. Complete that sentence and I'll fall at you for dinner tonight. I don't need my mother imagining me in another dress, Asmodeus shouted. Another what now? Inko asked as the gang froze. Izuku seemed to have the sense to create a distraction, even if they were curious. Hey Grandpa, we're getting kinda hungry. That snapped the man into action. Of course, no grandson of mine or his friends will go hungry tonight. Opera, if you will. Might as well. They had their fill of chaos, for the moment that is. Asmodeus didn't really know what to expect from Izuku's sudden invitation to his household, but initially believed there would be little harm in accepting. Opera was a powerful demon that held themselves together whenever he's noticed them. The chair demon was a candidate for the Demon King, and MDM Midoriya. That last one made his spine shiver a little. But as long as he never did anything to harm Izuku, he was fairly certain he'd get out tonight alive. At least 80% sure. Opera was an odd case. They were one of those people nobody got a read on. Well, barring Kaligo-sensei, but apparently that was an old bond of hatred. Izuku explained that the two went to school together. He didn't learn much more than that, but the context painted Kaligo as a kindred spirit he could possibly confide in, as disturbing as that sounded. Regardless, the food was marvelous. He ate as one should, civilized and with tasteful and savory bites. Thank you for the meal, Opera-san. I'm honored to be served such delinquency. Thank you kindly, but I'm afraid I didn't make the main dish. You have Madame Midoriya to thank for that. Asmodeus felt like running, but calmed himself. He was better. Obviously Miss Midoriya would take note of his progress, right? Oh, no need for thanks. Katsudon just happens to be Izuku's favorite dish. I've had a lot of practice preparing it in abundance. She humbly stated. Phew, no glares of fiery hate. He was in the safe zone at the moment. It tastes yummy. Thank you, Midoriya, Clara shouted, just shoving every bit of food into a bowl and storing it into paste, like an uncultured swine. He repressed his words though. The dangerous woman was too close to hearing range. It's just like my mommy's muffle crackle bang. All right, seriously, not everyone is aware of nicknames. Gakko spoke from her spot, using a surprising amount of SPK on her food. Still don't know where eye string came from. Oh, that's easy, I tore off her. So why is this your favorite dish, Izu? Aiko screeched, not that he couldn't blame her. Why? He asked, seemingly confused at the question. It just tastes the best. He shrugged. Loved it ever since I was a kid, wanted mom to make it every day of the week. I convinced him to shorten it down to 4 days instead. He was very persistent. Izuku's mother chuckled. I once made a whole table's worth for him, telling him he could eat all he wanted, thinking I could make him sick of it. Obviously, I failed on that front. Seeing as he once ate an entire table's worth of food without being aware, it made sense in hindsight. I see, personally I'm a fan of steak. I can't feel the heat, so overcooking actually makes it taste better. Oh really? I find fish to be more pleasant to cook in all honesty. The mad woman snorted as she said that sentence with an innocent look. D a minute, his own mother sold him out. It can be eaten fried, steamed, baked, and even raw. I like to have something live. Gakko spoke without a hint of mercy as everyone turned. Cold BLD, just feels good to have something warm inside you. Izuku, I won't judge you for the choices you and your friends make, but are you? We don't explore that at any time. Mom, Asmodeus never felt more empathy for his friend until now. Now he fully understands the depths of their relationship. One son of an evil mother to another. We can if you want to. Aiko offered, blushing like always. Just putting it out there. We're all friends here. No shame or anything. Oh, is this a new game? Clara asked, and for an instant he didn't feel the need to disrupt her innocence. I call Izuku Kins for my team. No, he's on my team, Aiko yelled from across the table. I met him before any of you did. Saving me was the first time he felt like a hero. I'm not into this, only stating for punctuality's sake, but the first one he met was me. Asmodeus decided to put his 2 cents in. Oh, so you're going for the rumors, huh? Aiko grinned as he felt a bulge in his eyes, twitching violently with restrained fury. You know it's not like that. Oh right, because you were a Dichi before Izuku Kins blasted some sense into you. Clara got in on the teasing, her teeth showing off her very evil intent. Before that, you were just a general grumpy grump to everyone you met. Izuku Kins did a great job taming you. You can't pull off the innocent act while spitting out vulgarities like that, you know? If Asmodeus despised anything, it was hypocrites. Izuku was the exception due to never actively trying to be insane. Sullivan laughed. Oh my, what a lively group you've gathered, Izuku-kun. Glad to see you within good company. What about the last 2 minutes conveyed any of that? Yeah, it feels nice to be around people I can trust. Izuku confirmed, sending all of them a warm smile. It genuinely felt nice to see it on his face after so many days without seeing it. Maybe that's why Izuku was so gung-ho about trying to make everyone smile around him. Well, since we're all done with the dinner course, why don't we do something to help the food settle before heading into the dessert course? Opera blankly stated. Again, it was strong to get a read on the man. He'd love to learn how to keep himself composed, if it meant he could survive around this family for long PRD of time. I recently purchased a new game for the young MSTR, and feel now would be a perfect time to bring it out. Tonight was going great. Everyone thought he was cool so far, and they all loved the dinner. Granted it was Opera's and Inko's dinner, but still. Izuku-kun got to show off his friends and be happy. The greatest joy one could possibly witness. Now all that needed to happen was everyone praising how amazing he was, specifically Izuku-kun. And this will go down as the best party in Netherworld history. So you play video games a lot? Gakko asked his beloved grandson. I know you're a nerd, but I didn't take you for that type. Didn't have many friends growing up, so I mostly looked at solo hobbies you could do at home. Izuku shrugged. This and hero research were pretty much my bread and butter. He looked at the game. Then again, I don't have any dance skills. But what about when we D? Once again, Asmodeus and Gakko ambushed the young Valak. Do we have to put a muzzle on you? Asmodeus seethed, planting his foot on her back. At least this kind of recreation is within my interests of sorts. Wow, it's the latest model too. Inko was looking all over the machine. Parts are refreshed and polished. How rich are you guys? Just about a few counties or so, give or take. Sullivan waved off the gasping faces. I would have gone for 20, but apparently, that's being too greedy. Like demons had such a concept around here. That's what made his little Izuku-kun so special in his selflessness. So then, Inko shook off. You pressed the steps, right? She asked as she tentatively pressed the arrows. Yes, and the one with the highest number of points wins. Opera spoke in their usually calm tone. Don't worry about points, Inko. It's all in the name of good and safe fun. Yeah, I'm going to step on all the pointy sticks and grab all the points. Clara used that endless vitality and speed of hers to repeatedly press on everyone, regardless of whether she was doing it right. The point of this game is about timing and precision, not accumulation. You die. Inko gave her scary mom look to Asmodeus. He felt both fearful and proud of the demon she was growing into. I'm sure you'll do your best. The boy spoke with gritted teeth. I feel I can do this decently. Gakko spoke with a cracked neck. Okay then, to start it says you raise your hand and Izuku was cut off as the game announcer icon jumped out of the screen. Yo, can I get a hizo? The little projection called them all out. You think you divvy enough to reach my level? Ha, I'll be the judge of that, and you all better be grateful for it. I never felt more insulted by pixelated light until now. Asmodeus lit his hands up. Is it possible for magic to harm holograms? I'll look into it at the next battler meeting. Inko spoke with a glare on the little guy. I'm still busy with looking after the other little pest that stays around the battler. Gakko agreed. Fun pixie man, Clara shouted obliviously. It's just a recording, guys. I'm pretty sure it says that to everyone. Izuku-kun cutely observed. Do you really want to test your luck, Greenie? The apparently sentient AI called him out. I don't need eyes to see that you SCK the most out of everyone here. Are you aware of the concept of smashing a console? Let's move on, shall we? Spoke the now sweating sentient AI. Get ready to go in 1, 2, 3, dance. Thus began the dance-off, everyone doing a strange movement. Please, everyone knows sumo is the best. Opera did his quick and small side steps, being the little show-off that he was. Asmodeus seemed to follow suit, though didn't act as fast as his butler did. Gakko was actually doing fairly well, not too worried about her speed or actions. Clara just kinda stomped the ground randomly, but it somehow gathered a ton of points regardless. Inko seemed to be the most out of place with her style, trying to act classy despite the fast beat. And Izuku seemed to be doing fairly well himself, laughing with Inko as they went about. Everyone was doing fine doing their own thing, at least until Inko grabbed his grandson's hand and tried to make it a waltz-like routine, making following along with the rhythm harder for them both. Then it got an extra dose of crazy when Clara decided to join in, jumping on the boy's shoulders and making him topple like a domino into Asmodeus. The boy was quite popular. He wondered who the lucky girl would be that would make him a great-grandfather. "Time's up, losers," shouted the pixelated demon. "Let's tally up those scores." Numbers appeared over their heads, spinning. His would be the last, of course. He got the best score. He got a 6. Lord Sullivan got a 6 in a dancing game. Next up was Inko, with 66 points. "Whoops, better train up some more," she laughed to herself. After her with 333 points was Izuku-kun. "I feel I did pretty good." Then with 666 points was Inko-san. Gakko had 6,666 points. "Your luck is absurd," spoke Asmodeus, looking at his own 66,666 points versus Clara's 66,665 points. "All you did was button mash." "Are you really surprised?" Izuku looked at the school representative. "How many times has Clara won a game or a fight just by constantly bashing or ramming into something? Smashing solves all life's problems." His grandson looked conflicted at his best friend's statement. And finally there was Opera who. "Oh, you can't be serious. 66,666,666? Sullivan deadpanned. "Even in hell, this had to be too many sixes in one place. It's not a big deal. It was in the 100 millions the last time." "Really? You know what you're doing, don't you? So this is why Caligo held on to so much spite. Maybe he should give his proper salary back." "Nah, he still needed to lighten up a little." "Your butler did this solely for showing off, didn't he?" Gakko concluded. "I've learned to accept his oddly skilled repertoire at this point." Izuku-kun shrugged. "You should have seen him in one-on-one combat games. Plays the entire game with his tail while ironing. Truly a formidable force. I am not sure how well to accept my place if I only beat Clara by a single point." He rubbed his head. It makes one question the point of it all at times. "Don't get your panties all up in a twist." Inko rolled her eyes. "You got trashed by Izu's powerfully awesome demon butler familiar, that's all. The most important thing to acknowledge here is that my score is right behind Izu. That has to mean something." "Yeah, it means you two need to learn how to dance." Gakko rolled her eyes as well. "But we danced great during." Clara once again began retailing whatever secret the group was hiding, and again was met by the duo of Az and Gakko. His darling daughter just gave a happy shrug. "Well, that was certainly the most lively the house has been in a while. I have to find more hobbies outside the house." She turned to his butler. "So, I believe we should all be ready for dessert now." "Nuo," he shouted, rightfully so, even if it made everyone stare at him questionably. What I mean is, we haven't fully digested our food yet. Surely there's another activity we can do before we dine on something sweet. Come on, brain, think of something." And it did, the appealing BSTRD it was. "How about we all go on a dark parade?" He spoke in a spooky voice, slipping a bit of magic to make ominous lightning appear in the sky, the blonde girl jumping. "A dark parade?" Izuku and Inko asked, causing the others to look at the duo questioningly. No, wait, they were looking at him. "All right, how uncultured do you keep your daughter and grandson?" Asmodeus asked with an accusatory tone. Yeah, Izu being cutely unaware of the world is one thing, but his mother too. Inko glared at him menacingly. "I'm starting to suspect something's off. This is something more than just sheltering your kid, especially if you passed it on to the next generation." "Well, the thing is, I didn't want anyone targeting my darling little Inko when she was young." He tried to justify on the fly, getting a nod from the women when no one was looking. He went on. "There are plenty of people that would target me after all. Despite wanting to spoil her, Inko wanted a quiet life as a nurse, until they went ahead and let her go for someone with healing magic." He showed them, stabbing all the head doctors in their sleep. "Abroad, but that kind of stuff happens all over the netherworld." Gakko spoke accusatively. "And how come Miss Midoriya doesn't have any horns either?" Stop pointing out logic in his lies. "Izuku said he doesn't have wings or a tail, and if I'm guessing correctly, she can't use magic either, right?" "No, actually, I can." Inko spoke up, a bit in cold sweat, before levitating one of her son's notebooks into her hand. "I can levitate small objects. The size limit doesn't change, but the weight and material is irrelevant." "Are you saying you could manipulate BLD vessels and other internal organs? Is that why you wanted to be a doctor?" Inko asked with a tilted head. Inko blinked in genuine curiosity, looking down on her hands. You know, I never tried it on another demon. She looked at Asmodeus. It'll be nice to test it out later. Clara ran by the pink-haired boy, who was now dead on his feet, and ran to his darling grandson. Are we still being stupid about this? Who cares what magic they do? Who cares if they don't know that much? I hardly know that much, and you all still love me. Love might be too strong of a word. Gakko rubbed her head. She's right about that though, we've already had this conversation. Haha, the genius of Clara Velak shined through as always. Maybe he'll put in a good word for Izuku for her. Anyway, the dark parade is where you walk into a scary place. Whoever stays the longest or makes it to the end wins, Clara went on and explained the rules. Oh, test of courage, Izuku nodded. Wait, are we going into the forest at night? Oh no, I have a much better spot in mind, Sullivan exclaimed with a dramatic twirl, pulling on a candle fixture in the wall. It snapped right off with a metal, as everyone stared confused. Right, third from the left, not fourth? He moved a bit before pulling again, this time a secret passage opening up. The hidden dungeon of the mansion should be absolutely perfect. Why do we have a hidden dungeon? Izuku tilted his head. Why are you just bringing it up now? Inko pondered. We got it for storage purposes, and you never asked. He answered respectively. Okay, but if this is a dark parade, then wouldn't there be nothing under there since you've moved here? Asmodeus, the little egghead, put in his own thoughts once he recovered from his shock. If you didn't clear out the dangers that lurk within it, then that's just plain irresponsible, especially if your magicless grandson lives with you. Oh, the barrier on the walls keeps all magic from coming in or out, a perfect defensive fortress. The things that lurks in there still exist and roam to this day without corporeal forms. Sullivan spoke with a mystique in his voice, already planning on getting the horses in place. Yay, ghosts! Clara shouted innocently as she ran in head first. She does know that there's no light, right? Gakko asked. Stare rolling in the dark, better move before she broke something. The horse put on its mask, feeling delight in its plan. First it would sneak out, then make a show of fighting MSTR, then treats would be given. Haha, this would be the most fun it's had in weeks. They hardly ever got to pull the carriage for the young MSTR, so this was a great time to stretch out their legs a little. The costume was a bit much. They were pretty confident that they were scary enough without the suit and mask, but the MSTR wanted it this way, so who were they to complain? Plus, the glowing eyes would make it easier to see them in the dark. Oh, that should be them now. I'm just saying, if you have all this space, why not put your money here? And leave the banks high and dry? I'm not a greedy CN. You already admitted to wanting 20 counties to yourself. And I would have done wonderful things by giving them to Izuku-kun. Grandpa, I don't even know what I would do with 1 county, let alone 20. That's easy, Izuku-kins. Build your own amusement park. I got tons of fun ride ideas. I just need your brain and drawly drawing. Oh, we can totally up Walter Park. Like Walt Disney. Walt who now? All right then, now was the time. The beast let out a stomp on the ground, letting it ring out across the area. What the heck is that? Inko, Clara, get behind me. Izuku, get behind me. Az, go kill it. I'm not needlessly risking my life over a simple game. Yet you almost kill someone just because they were chosen over you. Was that the reason? I was sorry, all right? Stand back everyone, I'll go check it out. Miss TR spoke in their cool voice, making their way over. Once out of earshot he whispered. Good job boy, now then, let's drag it out and make the fight look cool. The costumed animal nodded, making some rumbling noises as the old man jumped back. I thought as much, it's my pet monster. Miss TR announced to the little crowd. Don't worry, I got this, Grandfather Sma. Gorgon Snake. Cloud Fox. Falfel. What the hell? The horse had to dodge the multiple fireballs lodged at him by a DVDMN Gorgon. Why was there a Gorgon trying to attack him? Then a chill ran up its legs. OSHT. That Cloud Fox was trying to freeze him. Not that it was doing a good job. Those guys only worked well in groups, but not when there's a DVDMN Gorgon trying to kill him. Then a ball landed by him, a girl running up and catching it with her mouth. This was crazy and insane. What was that thing planning? Was it a trap to make it immobile for the DVD Gorgon? Screw this. With a whine, the creature ran with its tail between its legs. Forget treats, they wouldn't be worth death. I'm surprised. Cloud foxes are usually only effective in groups. Asmodeus complimented Inko. He was trying. Inko could see that. It just so happens that while she's a forgiving mother, she's hardly a forgetful one either. He needed to suffer just a little more for redemption. Been trying out subtle stuff. Makes it easier to use for chemical reactions on the projects we use. Inko smiled. Plus I didn't bring my big bag, so it was all I could do. A fellow brainiac. Her son needed someone to keep up with his rambles. And I helped with everything, Clara spoke super happy. I caught the ball before it did, so I won. Then again, Sin and Ran perfectly illustrated how adorable anyone related to Clara was, and she did want cute grandchildren. I don't know what's more uncanny. The fact that familiarmster dynamics are completely reversed with you too, or the fact that confusion is apparently a real-life attack. Her baby observed the entire situation. It's super effective. You see, that's what our insanity does to the untrained mind, hence why beasts run before they are driven to madness. Gakko snarked. She was nice but definitely not girlfriend material. Please, don't be girlfriend material. Be boo, but my plan. Her papa spoke weakly. Guess whatever he had in store didn't pan out. At least the kids were happy. They probably were too used to dangerous situations to notice the patches in the costume of whatever Papa used for the dark parade. It's fine, Papa. They're having fun, she reassured him. I know, but I wanted to look cool in front of Izuku-kun's friends. Ah, street cred, that's what he was after. How can I be Izuku-kun's hero if I don't save him? You're already his hero, sir. Opera spoke up, but not after they took out a camera and took a picture of Papa's disappointment. Thanks to you, he has friends and the chance to be a hero himself. Opera's right, Inko reassured me. You save him every day just by being here for him. That's more than Hisashi ever did, or even me for that matter. Of course I'd do that, but what if his friends tease him for having a lame grandpa, he asked. He almost overthinks stuff as badly as Izuku sometimes. Not to worry, sir, they'll merely call you out on being lame and pathetic. Izuku will be untouched. Opera spoke unapologetically. Besides, you have noticed the boy becoming more bold in the last few days, right? He'd hardly care. That is a fair point. Izuku back in Japan would have never used snark against someone like Asmodeus before, regardless of whether or not they were his friends. Inko recalled the little snides Izuku would slip into conversation every now and again. It's the power of their casualty. Demons like Asmodeus and Gakko like to assert themselves by believing themselves superior in some form. In this case, it's common sense. Opera went on. Young Midoriya is just learning and going along with it, until he eventually becomes what he is now. I'm telling you, your Gorgon would be a lot more appreciative if you fed it some rats. Gakko spoke out. Speaking from experience here. Seriously, could you please not put the live animal thing on everyone's mind again, Izuku muttered. She smiled, watching him joke around. This was nice, watching him hang out with everyone. Eventually Opera ran off. All right, now for plan B, Opera's plan. Papa muttered as she gained the feeling of him about to do something stupid again. Let's keep going, we still have the hidden door to reach. Everyone else just nodded along, caught up in their own conversation to notice her papa's worried looks. Opera may be teasing, but he's also loyal. He'll come up with something cool for you to impress the kids. Sure, I know that, but what could it be? Papa glanced down at shaky fingers. We've almost reached the end, and there's nothing but a walk-in closet there. Seriously, that level of room just for a walk-in closet. She remembered when her closet was barely 3 feet of room. They opened the door, now walking into a large pile of boxes. We're not going to find hidden treasure down here by any chance, Grandpa? Izuku turned to Papa. Haha, yeah, something like that, he answered with a wave of a hand, before turning back to her. The closest thing I have like that down here are my adorable baby pictures, he forgot to whisper. The group looked at the man for a second, then at each other, before shrugging and going along. The point of baby pictures was for a parent to embarrass a child, not the other way around after all. and suddenly the room is filled with a red glow. Papa, opera, it isn't capable of actually harming you, right? I don't know. Well, that wasn't reassuring. The red glow burned brighter, revealing some sort of moving dragon skeleton, fiercely roaring to keep them away from itself. What? He remembered to whisper this time. There isn't supposed to be anything like this down here. The kids moved in on their own, sending in the familiars again. But it wasn't going as well as they might have hoped. What? The fire doesn't work. How's that possible? Asmodeus screeched. Well, it is a dragon, and dragons are fireproof, Gakko plainly said. Honestly, it's basic creature studies. I'd figured you'd know more about this. If you're so smart, why don't you do something about it? Just because I'm a dragon, it doesn't mean we all know each other. That's actually pretty narrow-minded of you. Also, he's a FCK skeleton, cuts out most of my knowledge. Inko, can your cloud fox create enough wind to freeze it? Izuku cried out to the blonde demon. No go. It can only create that kind of power in a pack. All right, Clara, the girl nodded, pulling out a grenade of all things and throwing it, causing a massive boom along with smoke. The roar afterwards confirmed it wasn't even scratched. Well, that's not comforting. Okay, Opera's done a fine job, but I still don't know what's going on. Papa looked to the side and noticed his butler crouched down behind a crate, held up a device projecting some sort of light. Of course, the game system. The monster's nothing but a hologram. At least the kids aren't in actual danger. She had more trust in Opera's ability to accomplish that than her papa's, but that didn't make her worry any less. She then noticed a hand signal the cat-eared demon made towards them. Guess that's your cue. Good luck. Who needs it? Her papa cockily smirks, before glowing in a similarly violently red aura as he approaches the fake creature. Cease your attack. I shall not let you lay a finger nor fang on my grandson or any of his friends. He lifted his arms up. If you want to eat them, you'll have to do it over my dead and lifeless corpse. Was that where she picked up her scary voice? The kids backed away in awe, fear, and respect for the principal of their school. Even Clara, the ever-chipper and smiling girl, looked over with a timid and cautious look on her face, as if she was remembering a similar experience. Inko looked over to Opera once more as Papa flung himself in the air. The butler clicked a single button. Greatest, grandfather. Okay, he was dragging it out now, especially with all the flips. Smash, with a single kick, the beast flashed a white light over all of them, and just as suddenly as it came, it disappeared without a trace. Is everyone all right? Grandpa, that was amazing. Super duper divvy cool. As expected of our chair demon. That was a rush. Izu, you have to take me to explore more dungeons. Inko, we need to have a serious talk about your interests before it actually starts to become a problem. Her papa was basking in the honestly not at all deserved praise, but she would let him have his cool grandpa status for today. Great work, Opera. You went all out for everyone today. Just doing my job. They simply nodded, though she could tell how happy they were by the wagging of his long cat tail. Everyone, look, the dragon left something behind. Sure enough, a small red and gold treasure chest was revealed on the ground where the dragon was. Inko was impressed yet again. She had to do something nice for Opera one of these days. Well, there's no use in waiting around here any longer. She walked up to the group and picked up the chest. We might as well take this back up before anything else. She dropped the chest. Careful, it has some sharp edges. Mom, you're bleeding. Her son pointed to her hand in concern. Everyone around them looked at her appendage in worry. Don't worry about it, Izuku. I've dealt with worse injuries at the hospital. She tried to sway away any worry, but then almost failed to notice the cloth now wrapping around her hand. Allow me, I'd hate to watch your wound suffer exposed like that. Asmodeus had taken off his school ascot to make a makeshift bandage. As he started wrapping her wound, a single drop of BLD fell from her arm onto his hand. Gah! He pulled back, gripping his hand as if it was on fire, the irony not lost on her, and simply screamed to the shock of everyone. Az! Her baby ran up to him. Az! Clara shouted, checking up on him. The other two said nothing, silently getting close and trying to look at the injury. I'm so sorry. Inko started, reaching over to him. Let me look at... Hiss. The boy hissed at her, everyone jumping back in surprise as his body burst alight. But it was more of the sound. His eyes were narrowed in on her, slitting a low growl filled his throat. His entire face looked so animalistic. Something inside of her primitive was screaming at her. She would be hunted, she needed to run away. This man would kill her, she needed to get her baby boy out of here, and the entire area was cut off by a pressure, one that seemed to knock everyone back into their senses, even Asmodeus, who blinked in genuine fear and what looked like self-disgust. "Well then, is everyone all right?" Sullivan asked the group. He had simply slapped the pink-haired boy across the head. It was apparently enough to snap sense back into whatever came over Asmodeus. Yes, I'm—" The boy looked over his hand, covering it up, but she caught a glance of what appeared to be symptoms of an acid or venom. "I'm perfectly fine now." He took one glance at her and quickly turned away in shame. "If it's the same for everyone, I'd like to have dessert now." Everyone else nodded quickly, already wanting to forget about what just happened. Some of the kids, such as Izuku and Gakko, kept giving Asmadu's concerned looks, while Clara and Inko glared furiously, but none commented on the danger of the situation, almost like it was normal. For a while, Inko genuinely forgot an important fact. Her son was going to school with demons, and they would be killed if they were found out. Desert was quiet, occasional conversation and compliments, but there was an awkward mood caused by Az being an insensitive jerk. He's the one that got hurt trying to help MangaMuse. He didn't have to start acting like an animal. Now all they could do was enjoy the very good dessert, creamed de mango and assorted fruits. "Yummy," was all that was said between anyone between the Calamity cult. After a while, Inko, being the lovely woman she was, decided to break the tension. "How about we clean up for you guys? You can hang out in Izuku's room and check the closet for his hero merch." "Hero merch? You mean we can get a look at all the amazing people that inspired Izu to be the great demon he is?" "Mom, he was trembling in his own home. Not like she could blame him, that dungeon was intense. "All right, fine. I guess it wouldn't hurt to show them my hero journals at the very least." "Yay, notebooks from Izuku-kins are always fun," Clara shouted, running off. "Do you even know where to go?" Gakko yelled after her, as Az, who usually told the girl off, hasn't said anything, simply rubbing his hand the entire time. "Az, we know. I'm positive whatever Izuku has written down in his personal studies shall be enlightening for all of us. Izuku, if you would lead the way." "What ASCK up? First you try to kill him, and then his mother. How was Izu still able to stand him?" Izuku had a frustrated look, but showed the way to his room anyway. They walked down the long halls before finally reaching the hallowed doors. "Well, here we are. Just don't be too shocked by what you see. It may seem a little strange at first." He opened the door, and she was certain the view was amazing, so big and fancy. The view sadly was ruined by the thing in the ring jumping out. "Yahoo! Party with friends, sleepover. Shall we jump on the bed? Stories in the dark? Spin the bottle?" For once Lizzie made a good suggestion. "What are you doing here, Shadow-kun?" Clara spoke for the first time since coming out of the dungeon. "You know me, when the folks are gone, I come out for some fun." The shadow spun around. "Even magical entities are scared of their parents," Gakko muttered. "I'm not scared, I just don't like overexposure. Once the cat's out of the bag, it's strong to stuff it back in, if you know what I mean." "I do, and I hate it." Izu glared at his ring. "Lizzie, we all had a long day, and I'd just like to end it on a peaceful note before anyone tries anything else crazy." "You mean how Pinky here was nearly killed by your mama?" That quieted everyone down. "What are you talking about?" As attacked MangaMuse, Clara pointed out, obviously. "Oh, then I guess he doesn't mind showing you all his uninjured hand now, does he?" She pointed to Az's right hand, and he gave the shadow creature a dark look before shuffling it away from view. "It doesn't matter. There's no excuse for." Lizzie flew up to him and flicked him on the forehead. "Hey, what was that for? You moron, if you hide something you're just gonna drive the group wild. And you'd be a hypocrite for all you've heard them spill about." Lizzie then got a reporter outfit from somewhere. "So give us the deets, hun." "Fine, if it makes you disappear faster." He showed off a hand that was scarred with pink patches. I received these injuries while I was attempting to tend MDM-Midoriya's wound. Some of her BLD spilt on me, and suddenly my entire body felt like it was being attacked from the inside out. Mom's BLD? Izu questioned. Of course he would, it was such a ridiculous lie. How could BLD burn someone from the outside? It doesn't look good, you should really get that looked at. You know Sullivan has healing magic, right? Gakko tried to suggest. Ugh, she knew Gakko possibly had a thing for the guy, mainly for his sanity equating to normal in this group, but after everything he's done? It's fine, I won't cause any more trouble. I'll just wait until I get home and try to fix it there. He tried to hide his hand again, but it was stopped when Izu grabbed it himself. Izuku, I know that there's nothing I can do to compensate for what I've done, but if there's any possible, give me a knife. Yeah, Izu, stab the BSTRD. Clara, you can make one for me, right? Surprisingly, Clara wasn't as energized at the idea as she was. Then again, she was the closest to innocence the cult had. Sure, Izuku-kins. She created a small blade. Just don't do anything crazy. Izu then was given the knife. Come on, stab him. Hold the knife like that. Wait, no. You're holding it backward, Izu. You'll end up cutting yourself. He's cutting himself. Izu, stop. She grabbed the blade out of his hands, but the cut was already deep enough to shed BLD. What are you thinking? She loved his danger junkie antics, but this was going too far. Don't hurt yourself. Izu ignored her cries of concern as he gripped Az's hand. Izuku, wait, Az tried to stop him, but was too late as Izu let some of the BLD leaking out fall on Az's wounds. A faint glow was seen before Az's hand was cleared of all pink patches. It's better. I only did this once, back at Cutthroat Valley. Izu recalled. I healed the Guardian's baby, and it in return helped me and Sabnok. Wait, I remember you saying something about this. Inko thought back to their first meeting with Amy. You actually have healing BLD? I've never heard of any bloodline like that before. Wait, I thought Midoriya makes things float? Even Clara was getting curious for Divi's sake. And I thought you were magicless. Gakko spoke out from her spot, looking between Izu and the wound. Were you lying or something? It's a misconception. Lizzie spoke, everyone turning to the smoke. Izuku-kun has magic, but it's unusable. It's flowing so fast throughout his body that it's all mixed in with BLD, making it impossible for conventional spells. She went on. Inko has a similar problem, but the effects, Az wasn't lying, are different due to her being able to use her bloodline magic. Izu's eyes widened. Apparently this was new information for him as well. Wait, so because Mom has a Qui, because Mom has a bloodline, her BLD is toxic for demons. Ding ding ding, the boy wins a prize, Lizzie shouted, moving to a spot and pulling out a folded-up poster. Let's show it to the crowd. Lizzie, don't you dare! But it was too late, already unraveling, and who the hell is the steroid-taking PD flea? Az was back. Ooh, a smiling scary bunny, Clara returned as well. That looks oddly familiar. Gakko looked at the poster, then at Izuku. Don't tell me that's why you like being a green bunny. His smile is much more creepy than Izu's, Inko added honestly. She didn't know why Izu looked up to him, but she would support it. It's meant to be reassuring, Izu exclaimed, and she believed he believed that to be the case. His name's All Might, and back where I'm from, he's the #1 hero of all time. Even more so than Soul, than Grandpa. Oh, so All Might did a task better than carrying a mountain through a tornado? Or snapping a continent in half to stop a civil war? Or stopping a fight to the death between two world leaders by introducing ping pong? Izu looked a little pale at the list of accomplishments. Did Sullivan not even talk about his heroism to his hero otaku grandson? He must be a really bad grandpa. Well, he's actually changed the weather on multiple occasions. One punch from him can create an entire hurricane of force, or even change the wind pressure in air to make it rain. He's even smashed through an entire mountain at one point in his career. That was kinda okay, she guessed. So he's a Ket 8, maybe even a Tet 9. Az observed, rubbing his hand on his chin. I guess that's impressive if someone like Lord Sullivan isn't around. So he's mostly a musclehead, Gakko added on. Didn't think you'd admire someone like that, considering how scrawny you are. Okay, he was a little on the small side, but not everyone likes muscles the size of their head, you know. I don't admire his power, Izu clarified. It's just, the way he does it. There was an incident where a boy fell into a river. He jumped in and saved him, but the boy's magic changed the river to vinegar out of panic. After apologizing, All Might's response was, I should be thanking you. My skin feels 10 years younger. He does everything so well. He cares after everyone he saves almost as if they were part of his family. It puts a smile on everyone's face. So he makes everybody happy, just like you want to? Clara asked, very invested. Exactly. For decades, he's been able to save everyone, never falling, always winning no matter what, and he was able to do it all with a smile on his face. Izu remembered it warmly. On his debut during a train crash, he saved over 100 people in less than 10 minutes. He swooped in there and reassured everyone to never be worried because I am here. His mere presence alone earned him the title of the Symbol of Peace. Symbol of Peace, Inko muttered, looking at the man in a different context. She could see it, she guessed. The man was just excited to help people like Izu. If only his smile looked less menacing, she felt the need to blow a safety whistle looking at it. It sounds a little cheesy, but if he does it in earnest, I can see how that's possible. Izuku mentioned before that the duty of a hero is to put that cheesy lip service into action, to make those promises into reality. Az spoke, looking at the man up and down. Sounds like a lot of work to put on one's shoulders. I admire your determination, Izuku, but I don't envy it. Don't try to do everything on your own, Izuku-kins, Clara poked his chest. Mighty Bunny probably does his job well, but we're here for you. After all, how can you smile for everyone if you're not happy yourself? Yeah, you need to have your support group, like us. That way you can be an even better hero, Inko exclaimed with a hug. Also work on your smile. We don't need another creepy man towering over us. Gakko concluded for all of them. The chair demon is scary enough as is without this All Might guy being in the picture. The last thing you want people to add to the rumors is being a PD flea. He's not. Ugh, fine, I'll work on it. Izu sighed. People are scared of me enough as it is after being in the student council. Disguising myself as a rabbit is getting more and more appealing by the minute. Oh, maybe now you'll SWCH your cosplay costume inspiration from All Might to Maruko, the actual rabbit hero? Lizzie poofed her form again, showing a form with shiny white hair and a white leotard with a yellow moon on the chest, and of course, some fluffy long rabbit ears on top. Fluffy bunny lady? Clara asked. She could feel the accusatory tone and agreed with it completely. Izu, you don't have any hero merch of this hero, do you? Hey, why don't we jump on the bed now, Clara? Izu invited the green gremlin to the large king-size mattress. That is an important friendship exercise everyone back home must partake in. Bed jumping, she shouted, completely placated as she went and jumped on the very fluffy-looking mattress. Diamenet, her hero was too smart for his own good at times. You're a little evil mastermind, Az snorted. No, I just know how to survive being around demons. And girls. What's that supposed to mean? Gakko asked. Ah, finally, everything was coming back together. She felt like laughing, and she did. She laughed harder than she had ever done before. She thanked all the devis and stars that she met izukumidoriya. Gakko sat at the front with the others, waiting for their respective rides home. So you seriously don't own any transportation? Nope, we just play tag and race our way home. Sometimes we end up in the swamp, but we just play whoever doesn't sink wins. Clara said nonchalantly. Inko, make sure we create some sort of tracker at the Battler for Clara, and for her entire family for that matter. Their president notified her best friend. See if there's anything we can create to track certain magical bloodlines. Already been on it for a while, working out K&K. It was her initial Find Izuku plan after all. Gakko saw the work she put into that thing. The woman could do anything she put her mind to. So, we don't have to worry about you hurting yourself just to heal others, right? She pointed to Izuku's now bandaged hand. No, you can be sure of that. Izuku waved off, although it sounded a little too fast for her liking. I'll find a way to make it work for me eventually. Right now, I still have to MSTR the ring before attempting anything else. Well, as your friends, we'll be sure to hold you to that. You get into enough trouble as it is. As pointed out, rightfully so. He then noticed a carriage pull up along with an old man. Ah, Henry's here. And no mother. This truly has been a spectacular evening. They'd need some way to visit his home without immediate fear of that woman. Pretty sure they'd get a sec-ed course they couldn't handle. Clara pointed to a lantern. There's my family. Hey mommy, hey Conchai, hey Kibo, hey Sin Sin, hey Ran Ran. She waved to the bundle of clones. Hey Clara, the pile of green shouted back. The poor mother, having to deal with 5 Claras when they only had to deal with 1. Oh, here's your dad, Inko pointed to a shadow in the sky. Shoot, she thought her dad would have been too busy to pick her up. Please don't be embarrassing, not tonight. That's getting pretty big, Izuku noticed. Are you sure it's? Then the shadowy figure made a crater by landing in the forest. Everyone braced for the impact. When the dust cleared, it showed a dragon the size of the mansion itself. Spikes adorned its body with green and some minor yellow scales. Hey sweetie, did you have fun with your little minions tonight? Her dad spoke softly, but his height practically made his voice thundershocks. That's your dad, Izuku muttered. Yeah, she knows. You don't have to rub how embarrassing he is in front of her. Okay, either my old home or my new home is being unoriginal here, or the universe just said screw it to my brain. What was that about? Dad, I told you they're not minions. The term we have is friends. Sure. Hey there Aiko-chan, how's your folks been? He went on, knowing the conversation was like hitting her head on a brick wall. Oh, it's been great, although Aunt Peach keeps telling me to stay away from you for some reason. Aunt Peach, of course, Izuku muttered. Seriously, what was he on about? Such a lovely woman, the womanizer went on, diamond it all. Well then, let's get you girls home. It was then that Lord Sullivan walked out, looking at the beast and giving an almost nostalgic smile. Lord Koopa, you never told me you had kids. I could have had so many fun discussions, Izuku facepalmed. At least now they could empathize over something. Now joining Az in the messed up family gang. Lord Sullivan. Her dad growled, oddly quiet. You still never returned my lawn mower. I had to use it for go-karting. Okay, seriously, is all of this just some game show to mess with me? Wow, Izuku was going into a full breakdown. Well, the night has been stressful. Well, if I can't use it, neither can you, her dad shouted, his mouth now wide open and glowing red. What are you? Wait, no, don't burn down the... Tonight was a full-on disaster in her opinion. Wow, and to think I was kidding when I called her Bowser's daughter. The power I wield is too much for the word sometimes. Lizzie bragged, very proud of herself. Come on kid, you can't deny it must have been cool to see such an icon come to life. More surreal than anything else. Her MSTR muttered, staring up at the ceiling in silence. We were lucky Clara's mom ate that mushroom and grew giant. He rolled his eyes and plopped himself on his bed. There's so much about this world I still don't understand. Well, that's just isn't it, Lizzie spoke. You're an outsider learning about the world, and I'm your little tour guide to make sure you don't get found out, and I don't vanish from reality. It was sad when your own existence was dependent on another. Not just that, he muttered. Have you ever heard the expression walk a mile in another's shoes? Of course I have. That's part of the deal being the envy stealer ring. She rolled her single eye. When I see a new bloodline, I can't help but wonder what it's like to be them. I wonder why they have something I don't, and I take it for myself and leave them with nothing. Yeah, but I can't be like that, Izuku spoke. Not the magic part, but them, as demons. I can't experience their lives or their happiness, their pain and sorrow. How the hell can I save someone if I never know what it's like to be them? He closed his eyes. I've been lucky to have friends like Clara and Amory. We've had similar experiences. The others, like Az, they don't fully get it, and maybe that's my fault. How so? This was a lot more thought into the subject she thought he would have. Demon culture was founded differently than humans. When it comes down to it, we're the same, but our longing, our outputs on life. There's more cruelty in the netherworld, but there's more opportunity to grow. His voice was starting to slur. They have these evil cycle they treat as normal, but do their best to make sure they don't fall into them. Their self-servingness made a community of genuine happiness. He yawned. If only I could. He didn't finish his sentence as he finally fell into slumber. Wow, you've been overworking your brain about this for a while, haven't you? She leaned over his unconscious form. The world is yours for the taking, and yet you hold yourself back. She's seen the boldness grow in him within the past few days, using more magic, planting his feet, but he only did it to a point. Well then? Lizzie cracked her non-existent neck. Yikes, that always felt weird. Time to let your old pal Lizzie fix you right up, and give you what you want. Now then, let's get it all down. Demons have horns, wings, and a tail. She started gathering magic inside of her palm, mixing it from everyone this boy was connected with, like that time where something grew. She thinks, the before times were weird. And the most important part of all, she muttered, placing the magic on his head. Evil cycle. You're given an evil cycle that's fully stressed out. Enter your wicked phase and become a bad boy. She quietly chanted. This had no chance of backfiring. He would be so happy when he woke up. Inko tapped her fingers idly at the table, Sullivan humming to himself as he signed off some work, and Opera preparing the dishes for breakfast. Of course, the butler always did so, but usually they had to hold off Inko's pestering and took notice this time around, causing the cat-like demon to look at her curiously. The mother gazed at her own hand, still wrapped in a bandage despite her papa's healing magic. The bandage that was still covered in her BLD. The BLD that almost made Asmodeus, the boy her baby claimed to be a close friend, go crazy and kill her. I assumed that with Papa in charge he was keeping everyone from harming Izuku, but it looks like any of them can be set off at any moment. What would it take for Asmodeus to target her son again like before? Would Gakko feel hungry at some point and snack on her son? Would one of Clara's crazy games end up running him through the heart? Would that little smart damsel that Izuku saved get too curious and cut him open? The teacher already had trouble with her son, according to Opera. But does his idea of expulsion involve murdering him on the spot? The thoughts were forming a dark cloud in her mind. Izuku was supposed to be safe, but despite his happiness, he was in twice the danger of being harmed, of being killed, than in Japan. Papa, I don't think I want Izuku in Beyblades anymore. She spoke firmly in a tone that got both Sullivan and Opera's shock. Why, Inko dear, what brought this? Her papa tried to innocently ask, but she wasn't in the mood. When we agreed to go with the contract Hisashi created, you said we'd always be cared for and provided for. Inko Butterfly recalled. But since coming here, Izuku's been at the mercy of BLD hungry demons, literally hungry for his BLD. Zinko, if you are referring to the incident, that was simply a one-time thing. With the perfume he will be, Opera started, but she cut him off. And what if it's not a one-time thing? What if some disastrous event happens where they fight and someone loses it? People have literally tried to kill my son, and they don't even know that he's human. Inko gripped her hands. I've done nothing but live comfortably in this mansion, while my baby struggles just to be accepted among his peers. I can't risk his life, not now, not ever again. Both the demons were silent at her logic, and it just made her heart ache. They have practically given them the world, but it didn't change the fact that Izuku was different from everyone else, that every day, because of his dream, he would struggle, he would suffer just for trying, just for existing. Inko, if you truly feel this strongly about everything, then you should talk to Izuku-kun about it. Sullivan sighed with the energy drained out of him. I can see the look in his eyes. They're dangerous demons, but his friends make him happy. Take that away from him, and he won't take it kindly. I know. For Divi's sake, she knew all too well. She broke his heart when he was 4, and it's taken this long for it to finally start healing. Let's all greet him this morning. If we're deciding this, it should be as a family. And hopefully she could convince Izuku of how truly risky it was just living here. I'll bring him some Helgri tea. Opera responded with a fresh cup on a plate. Everyone nodded slowly as they all made their way to Izuku's room. Morning, Izuku-kun. Papa knocked the door open with a happy pep in his step. We have a ton to discuss, and what better way to start the morning with a nice big breakfast with your fam. Can it, Gramps? It's way too early in the morning to be talking SHT that loud, said a person with her baby's voice, because clearly that wasn't her baby that talked like that. her baby, that made Opera drop the teacups that shattered on the floor, something that never happened before. "Where the heck is the food?" asked the green-haired boy with sharp eyes. "And 2 horns wait?" "It's the butt crack of dawn, and I'm not going to listen to whatever CRP you have to spill without eating whatever shitty good food we have laying around." Did Katsuki take her son's body over? That had to be it. There was no other way he could talk like this. Izuku, baby, are you feeling well?" "As well as I can be while being forced to wake up at this unsightly hour." "Mother?" "Mother?" He's never used that word before. Always mom or mommy back when he was younger. You have horns, Izuku-kun," spoke her papa in a trembling voice. "I do?" The boy reached up and touched his horns, short but had a small edge to them, almost looking like they were curved into a smile. "I guess I do. You know, now that you mention it, I feel like I've got this weight off my chest. Or back." They unfurled dark green and narrow wings and an almost midnight shaded green and spaded tail. "It feels freeing almost, like I can do whatever." He spoke, reaching for the newspaper by the table and checking it over. "Royal One's anniversary. Now there's something interesting." Opera, for the first time since they've known each other, stumbled on their own words. How is this possible? What happened to him?" "It's all the student council's fault," Papa cried, a pool of tears. "He was practically perfect until that she-devil forced all that strong LBR on him. I came here for the last 5 days. Gramps, it's not her fault," the boy muttered. "Now then, time for some food, and could you get the carriage ready? I want my friends and I to ride in style." Izuku." Her baby never took the carriage, always being afraid it would make him stand out too much. "We really need to talk about your stay at Babel's." "What's there to talk about?" Izuku asked. "Human schools would ditch me at a moment's notice just for being quirkless, and here I can actually hide my humanity thanks to the envy ring." They waved it around, a green mist making a claw of an OK6 sign Papa liked to make. "Here not only can I have a genuine education, but I can make friends, and humans are just fantasy creatures around here. They'll never figure out I'm one of them. Especially with this tail, it really gives me tons of balance, surprisingly. Tails are awesome," he cackled with a hint of a dark tone. If you say so." Again, her son's happiness made it strong to say no, but this new shift in personality put her on edge. "I'm just worried that there'll be another Katsuki with how Asmodeus presents himself all the time and—" "Mom, you have nothing to worry about from Alice. It was a complete accident." Her son used his friend's first and despised name. "Besides, I can take his power whenever I want, not like he's actually a threat to anybody." He lifted a finger and showed off a little flame. "Wait, did you just use mental magic?" Opera was brought out of his stupor. "Oh, so that's a thing? Better experiment with that after the week is over. Have too much planned for now." "Planned? What did he have planned besides school work? So then, breakfast?" Gakko couldn't escape from her own house fast enough. It was so embarrassing to have all her friends witness the moronic dunderhead her dad could be at times. At the very least, he didn't go ranting about that plumber that never gets to the house. The man could rant for days when he wanted. "Seriously, Gakko, it wasn't that big of a deal." Aiko tried to placate her. "Sure, your dad got totally owned by Clara's mom, but who hasn't been taken off guard by the Valak family at this point? Least we were able to take that pipeline shortcut over here before he could notice." "Do not mention the pipeline again, that place is disgusting." Gakko shivered. "I mean, I know nobody will make fun of me, as his mom and Izuku's grandpa are both bad enough, and Clara is just Clara. Insane. But it's embarrassing all the same. You might actually have the most normal family out of any of us." "I know, it's such a shame. Aunt Peach never talks about her time when she hung around your dad. All she said was that there was always a princess in another castle, whatever that means. She unfortunately did, which was why her dad was currently single. Well, you know the saying. The grass is purpler on the other side." They finally made their way to the main gate of the castle they visited last night. "Dragon Lady, Ice Ring," Clara shouted next to Az, who was busy on his phone. "You never did explain that name." "And I still won't," Aiko indignantly responded. "Think Izu has something crazy planned for today? Things have been slowing down too much for my taste." she asked the entire group once they all met up by the gate. After last night, I hope not. Asmodeus put away his phone. What's taking him so long? He usually gets here early to start walking. Classes start in 15 minutes. Maybe he wants us to run a demonthon to school today. I'll get us started. Clara began revving her maybe sentient slippers and tried to speed off, though Az held her in the air before she could get going. Stop being a poopy party pooper, Az. This does not put a smile on my face. You are not running off. We're not going to waste the next hour finding where you ran off to. He spoke. Besides, there he is now. He waved. Good morning, Izuku, he shouted. Man, the guy was great in the mornings, just SCK everywhere else. Morning, Alice. A familiar yet edgier sounding voice rang, and everyone froze on the spot. Sorry for keeping you waiting. Plans to make, enemies to take down, breakfast to eat. You know how it goes. Az was left flabbergasted as the horned boy walked up to them. Wait, horned? Yo, I-chan, mind carrying my bag for me? Of course, Inko shouted, completely unaware of her own crush's unusual request, or the fact that there was a freaking tail sticking out from behind him. Anything for you. She hugged the bag like it was her own baby. Thank you. The boy spoke. I can always count on you to help. He patted her head and left her legs jelly before Clara spoke out. Hey, I help too. I make everyone smile. Was she also as oblivious as the girl before her? Of course, Clara-chan. The boy spoke and rubbed her head like she was a puppy. Just keep smiling. It's your most amazing quality, you know. I'll make sure to keep it you up. Wait. Clara could get nervous. What new brand of insanity have they entered into now? Izuku-kin's is pointier today. Aw, thanks. Your horns look lovely as well. Like a little green lamb in all its cute, fluffy glory. The normally meek and nervous kid spoke without a hint of hesitation. No one could say anything. What was with this new attitude? Are you all right? She felt the need to ask. He glanced at her, eyes cold and calculating, but a warmth was buried deep. It made her feel like a lab rat or something. Of course, I feel amazing today. Is the hand all right, Alice? Izuku asked, patting the demon on the shoulder. Az himself looked a little weak in the legs as well. I'm doing fine, sir. What the— Hey, that's not important. What's going on with you now? What with the horns, and the tail, and flirting? You didn't mess with the ring last night, did you? No. I went to bed and woke up like this. About time, I say. Izuku responded with an eye roll. It was getting exhausting looking at such a plain-looking face all the time. Izu's face isn't plain-looking, it's amazing, Inko shouted, and Izuku turned, looking more curious than anything. Thanks, I-chan. He hugged the girl, who gave out a squeak. But don't call me Izu, or Izuku, it doesn't feel right. I'll work on something though, he said ominously. Anyway, our ride should be here soon. Ride? From out of nowhere, a carriage was pushed into existence, being carried out by 2 hellhorse, along with a red carpet being pulled out for the entrance, as well as Sullivan himself bowing before them. Your ride, young MSTR. Thanks, Gramps. Can always count on you. Apparently that sent the man into enjoy as he walked in. Come on, guys, we don't need to waste energy flying when we can ride in style. Flying? Don't tell you also grew? She questioned, and it was immediately answered with Izuku unfurling dark green wings. What the hell happened after we left? I may be a bit off, but I can't see any other explanation for it. Az muttered with a cautious glance. The changes in his demeanor, the attitude, the boldness, it's a complete change in personality. This might actually be Izuku's wicked phase. Well, that explained one mystery. Everyone was a little crazy during their wicked phase. She remembered when she tried to conquer the world with a ship. It didn't end well. His wicked phase? Inko asked. Don't demons usually get a mana boost from those? Is that why his traits came out now? I suppose if what Lizzie said was true, then that mana boost may be what's allowing Izuku to look more demon-like. Az tried to rationalize. But to skip an evil cycle altogether. Was last night so stressful for him, it forced him into the wicked phase right away. Clara seemed to take that personally. No, it can't be. We had lots of fun last night, at least until Az acted really mean. Ouch, low blow Valak, low blow. Are we really going through this again? You act crazy all the time. How do you know it isn't because he's getting tired of watching over you all the time? What about Dragon Lady? Her daddy almost burnt him and his home to a crisp last night. You forgot all that just because she seduced you into being love buddies. Hey, I am not into Az, just so we're clear. He's way too high maintenance for me to handle. The man had the audacity to gasp. Me, high maintenance? You're just trying to justify your lack of appeal. Oh, so he wanted to play that game, did he? Last I checked, the only women that are into you are the trio of loons and the embodiment of lust in the form of that eye stalk. Inko snarked out in her defense. Oh, I should be mad because people adore me and don't you? Oh, how truly furious I am. Why, the little thin-necked bstrd, she should strangle him on the spot. Hey you guys, we have 8 minutes left. Either quit whatever you call this instead of flirting, or embrace someone nearby to prove a point. Izuku called out. Just saying, you could cut the SXL tension with a knife around you guys. Hey. She tried to call him out, but whether it was the out-of-nowhere bluntness, the awkward interjection, or the somewhat funny tone of it, she couldn't find a legitimate comeback to his statement. She turned to everyone else, and they seemed equally dumbfounded. We should just go. Agreed, was everyone's response. She found herself sitting next to Az while Izuku was right in between Inko and Clara right across from them. Clara and Inko were too busy blushing red to say anything, and she herself was too lost. Izuku held a cocky grin, like he had won an execution cannonball tournament. The boy just fiddled with his phone, typing some messages over boards according to Inko. What did this guy plan, and how long would they have to put up with it? The misfit stared in fascination at the boy eating candy and fiddling with his phone. One might assume this was a new student, but closer inspection revealed something even more interesting, and a little startling. Potential husband number 4, the honor student, danger junkie, or as the rest of the class knew him as izukumidoriya, sat back on his chair, feet up on his chair spotting brand new horns and a tail that weren't there the last time Elizabetta inspected. And believe her, she spent a lot of time inspecting her potential husbands. So then, do we just have a really bad shapeshifter going for street cred? Or is Midoriya unusually edgy today? Potential husband 8 asked, his golden rings being used to scratch his head. He's going through his wicked phase. It's best to keep distance until the whole thing blows over. We don't know how he'll react. Potential husband 2 warned the group. Well, most of them. Potential CNCBNB was still trying to play with the boy, who mainly just nodded and participated in word games that didn't require much movement. Okay, so we all didn't hate Izuku before any of this, right? Potential CNCBN unnervously asked. She recently got over whatever disdain she held over potential husband number 4, joining his cute circle of friends. I mean, if he's in his wicked phase, he's not going to carry any grudges from anyone here, right? We were pretty chill with each other after the rookie hunt, so I think I'm safe. Potential husband number 3 spoke, leaning a little too much on his tail and sweat. I mean, unless Clara told him about the timeout game we had to put her in when she joined. I feel you're completely justified on that one. No one can hold Clara down on that many games without conflict. Potential husband 2 spoke, still observing the boy as he handed a candy bar to the girl. OSHT, he might actually kill me now for starting all those MMHRM rumors. Potential husband Kami shivered in panic. Well, he might try and fight me. Potential husband 1 shouted. He's a worthy rival, and if he views me as the same, we may come to blows and destroy the school. He spoke confidently. It looked like others were about to open their mouths, until... Alice, come over here real quick. Potential husband 4 spoke up suddenly, causing everyone to look at the now nervous pink-haired demon as he made his way over. Is there something you need? Potential husband 2 was cut off as the green-haired boy grabbed him and oh my, placed him in his lap with an arm over his shoulder. I'm cold, and you feel like a personal heater. Potential husband 4 responded like it was asking someone to add 2 and 2 together. What the hell? Do you want the rumors to get worse? Does it look like I give an SHT about what useless people think about me? The boy responded flippantly. I just want to be comfy. You can join the pile if you want, Clara. The classroom itself is pretty cold. Potential CNCBNB quickly embraced the boy in a passionate hug. So commanding, maybe she should. Nah, the boy was finally grasping how to make it work. Better not overwhelm him. Besides, everyone knew it wasn't practical to mess with someone during their wicked phase. That wasn't the true them. Oh, okay, I was worried that you would have killed me, so I'm glad you're actually. Kami spoke with some relief, only to receive a dark, fiery look from PH4 that looked like it was summoned from the depths of hell. You better hope I'm not in the mood for fried chicken during the week, he promised before going back to his phone. The bird in question passed out. Understandable. She could feel herself grow weak in the knees during that. Such an imposing presence, truly worthy of being my rival, PH1 shouted loudly, with a grin that made him look cute. PH4, for the first time since she's noticed him, returned the passionate declaration with a glare, like he agreed. Yeah, but this is not the place to duke it out. The smells are getting worse. The green-haired boy sniffed. It's cold, the class is breaking down, and it smells like SHT. Where the hell is that stench coming from? Oh, that's probably today's garbage team. PH3 pointed out the door. They're probably dumping it at the base of the stairs as usual. Hey, where are you going? I'm taking care of this class's pest problem. The boy spoke as the group followed, making their way up the stairs to see a group of students dumping trash. Oh, how unsightly, but not unusual. Hey, you lazy extras, what the hell do you think you're doing dumping this CRP all over the place? The two turned. Oh, the garbage is all the way past your classroom, but you don't mind taking it out, right? Garbage class? The first spoke. Yeah, it ain't like we're doing anything wrong. We're just putting the trash right where it belongs. The hooligans went off to make their way upwards, but a green blur brushed past all of them and stopped them. It was PH4, using his tail and wings to send the boys falling backwards. What the hell, since when do you have? PH4 covered the thug's mouth with his newly acquired tail and slapped him across the face. You're right. Everyone was startled, turning to PH4. It's our duty to burn trash. He raised his hand up. Demon mode, Rapfire. A bolt of blue fire shot from his ring finger and past the two heads of the other students, making a makeshift bonfire of garbage. You know how burns work, right? He spoke, walking up to them. First degree is just skin, at most sunburn. Second degree, you start to get blisters and burns. At worst, it becomes permanent. Third degree, PH4 didn't stop talking after grabbing the boys' shirts, holding them over with his hands. Destroys the dermis, looking black and charred as part of your body and nerves are irrevocably damaged, destroying nerves and giving this odd sense of a phantom pain where in reality you can never feel again. Izuku kins. PCB spoke quietly, shivering in place. And fourth degree, well, we don't need to go there. It's not like you boys will be dumping garbage like a walking pile of it that needs to be burned, right? He leaned two of their heads near the bonfire. Or do we need to admire the beauty of fire more closely to appreciate all of its glory? PH2 was left gasping at the display, along with the majority of the class. Oh, this was doing things she didn't know was possible. But hold it in, doing it with a wicked phase was where she drew the line. But one could say a wicked phase was just a part of themselves they kept hidden. No, this was more difficult than she thought it would be. Right away, danger. The thugs were tossed into the wall, strong. I mean Sir Honor Student Izukumidoriya. Get the hell out of here, and tell the rest of the school that the misfits are no longer going to be at the bottom of the barrel. He showed off his wings like a vulture. Or else. The hooligans screamed as they fled in terror. Nice going, Izuku. Didn't think you had it in you. PH8 complimented. Though I don't think that's going to do much. Once your wicked phase ends, they'll just come back. Ain't like we're not used to it. PH3 agreed for all of them. You're right, there's a lot of potential in this class that's going overlooked, and I need to ensure it lasts before my wicked phase ends. He spoke. Hence, I'll exchange this trash heap for a castle. He gave them all a savage grin that sent both awe and terror into their souls. Time to go beyond. Robin smiled happily. Look at Caligo's class so happily walking in, even if some of them were sweating. They really did care for their teacher, didn't they? Midoriya seemed to be leading the pack. So cool. The confidence of the little guy was outstanding. It made him proud to be in charge of such wonderful and creative students. Hello, Caligo. I thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule for this meeting. Not by choice, considering you lot burst into here without warning. Caligo sat across from the honor student as the other misfits surrounded him. Of course, your schedule is completely busy, which is why I got the chair demon to get you time off for the week. You'll still go to school, of course, but it should at least curb your anger. Midoriya shrugged. Don't want an evil cycle to break out or anything. Caligo didn't look like he knew how to take that information, but nonetheless kept his usual moody tone. Speaking off, it seems your wicked phase has finally triggered. At the very least you look presentable for once, as presentable as delinquents can get. Huh, Midoriya did have horns now, and a tail. How did he just notice that? I know, it's given me such a view on life, one that requires me to take action. Midoriya started. Clara-chan, can you give me a map please? He asked the Valak girl, who looked like she'd been slapped out of a daydream. Weird, maybe he should play with her later. I'm sure you want to get straight to the point, so I'll just cut to the chase. The misfit classroom is a shitshow right next to the garbage dump, and we demand an immediate transfer to something better. Caligo looked at the room. It's the only one far away enough from other students. Oh, and why do we have to be isolated from other students? We have been just fine. Caligo stared at Midoriya for a solid 3 minutes, like he was expecting a joke. In response, the man pulled out a book from thin air. Asmodeus Alice started a fight on the first day of school and has been your lackey ever since. We're friends, not lackeys. Diamenet, what was a friend? Sounded fun. Sabnok Sabro fought with a teacher on the first day of school and caused property damage. Did I really do that? Did he? That sounded crazy. Kane Kamui, a complete degenerate that's harassed several female students and faculty. No regrets, maybe he should keep an eye out, just in case. Roman 9 Elisabetta tried to start an orgy. Also no regrets. She spoke as all the students actually paused their listening to turn to her. Shaq Slide sent 7 students to the hospital over a poker game. Someone got the number right for a change. True, he thought it was 8. Krosel Karori, actually you were supposed to be in class 1D, but a mix-up occurred between you and another student, and the chair demon refused to change it. So that's what happened there. Poor girl, sane in a class of crazies. Jazz Amandros, a lowly thief. I make 500 a day. Maybe he should get in on that action, for the teacher's sake of course. Garp Goman practiced his magic in the cafeteria, causing several casualties. They dared question my honor, the honor that you couldn't stab someone. Alistair Schneider corrected teachers for 5 minutes, kicked them out of a window, then took over the classroom yourself. They were teachers, they should learn to teach right. It was true, good thing he was great at his job. Agers Paisro, sleeping during all early activities, even the entrance test. I was tired Diamenet. Was he sleeping even now? Person Soy never showed up to any major activities. Who now? Valak Clara exists. Hooray, such a nice girl. There is also an extensive list of damages and chaos you cause on a daily basis. Caligo spoke. It's a danger to keep you all near the other students, so we need to keep the majority safe and keep you away. And what part of that sounds abnormal for demons? The honor student called out. Oh, this sounded intense. Demons at their center are creatures of longing. They do what they want, go where they want, and fight for everything that they want. That's what this school encourages, right? So what the hell makes us any different than any other demon in this school? The misfits looked curious, nodding and murmuring among themselves. Even the other teachers listening in were agreeing to an extent, as did he. You don't think I don't know what this school is doing here? You're threatened by us. Everyone here actually had the ball to go beyond what they were given, and you decided to lock up all that potential away. Potential? What potential? Caligo argued back, and Midoriya just leaned forwards with a scary smile, almost asking for his teacher to fight him. You alone with your antics have almost destroyed the school. What I see is the biggest waste of talent and magic in all of Beyblades. You abnormals get nothing more than you deserve. Then let us prove ourselves. Midoriya barked back with a smirk. The quality of our classroom reflects the quality of our work, so it stands to reason that the better the classroom, the better the work. Besides, as our teacher, what does that make you? nothing more than a cherry on a sundae of SHT. Wow, the teacher managed to twitch an eyebrow, impressive. Caligo sighed, reaching down at the map. Even if you, as you say, wish to learn, the Misfits classroom is the only one far enough from the other students to not cause distractions from your daily antics. Oh, even the royal one? The entire room became cold and tense. What the heck is going on? What made the royal one special? Why is everyone tense? He whispered to Dalton. The royal one was the Demon King's original classroom, he said back. It was locked up to preserve his memory. What? The Misfit class is going to learn where the Demon King was taught? Robin shouted. These guys were just so cool. They're not. The voice cut out as energy rolled into the room, roaring and taking the form of a large wolf-like beast. It stood behind Caligo, glaring at the students of the Misfit class. Do you really wish to tarnish the name of the Demon King so horribly? He asked. Izuku, this was good and all, but I feel we've overstayed our welcome. Shax tried to speak to the green-haired kid. Izuku, I'm all for moving to a better classroom, but even that seems like a bit much for students like us to demand. Kurori spoke, hiding behind the honor student's chair. The boy responded by getting up and placing his foot on the table in front of them. I could have just asked the chairman, my overdotting Gramps, to give it to me. But that wouldn't fix the problem, we'd get called out for it. No, this is something we've got to earn. Black and green smoke emanated from the ring, expanding over half of the boy's body as it extended his right side, making it look like a devil was smiling down at the man, and weirdly looked like a rabbit of sorts. What I want is an opportunity to earn this. That's why I went to you, the strictest and most neutral of teachers, who will let anyone get a chance no matter how small it is, if they are up for the challenge. What do you say? I'll get the faculty to sign off on it if needed. The grin was causing him tension. He felt danger in his soul as the two stared down at each other. Give me a week, and I'll have the whole school chanting for the Misfits to have the Demon King's classroom. Shockingly, Caligo retracted the Cerberus creature and simply nodded. You will get signed permission slips from all faculty within 3 days' time. From there, you will be prepared to handle the immense responsibility required to. The man was interrupted by Midoriya. Deal, he said, slapping the teacher's hand and walking to the door. Of course, when we get everyone else's, you'll be expected to give yours. The boy raised his finger in a teasing manner to his mouth. In silence. That got the biggest reaction from Caligo he'd ever seen, barring that cat familiar. The other students followed suit, saying silence as they walked out rather than goodbye. Wow, that was so cool. I'm gonna give them my own stamp, just for being awesome like that. What about you guys, wanna join in and… He was interrupted by a familiar hand grabbing his face. Wonder what he did wrong this time. They were all morons, but they were his morons. Were they really satisfied with that classroom when they could do so much better by putting in the effort? Come on guys, we're all friends here, tell me what's on your mind, he gestured to everyone. No judging, just say your piece. Izuku, your plan sounds crazy, and I love playing games, but only when I know I can win. Lied voiced his complaints. But really, Royal One, I don't know how anyone can rig the game to their favor. They just needed the right emotional awareness and enough manpower to make it work. Wasn't that strong? How can none of you seek the title of the Demon King? Are we really classmates of the same caliber? Sabnok asked. He didn't need to be convinced at all. He'd let the man rile them up a bit before the tour. It does seem out of the equation for us. There's too many variables to consider. Skinder, the man of knowledge, stated like it was a math problem. Wasn't he smart enough to realize logic wasn't a factor in the netherworld, especially with this class? And honestly, we don't really need a class like that. We can manage just fine in our little hideout. Jazz really thought they wouldn't help him move his stash. They were friends, he should be aware of that. It seems like a lot of work. Paisro plainly stated. Of course. What about you, Asmodeus? Asked Kurori. Not wanting to stand out, she'd just go for the flow. I've been at a loss all day. Clearly my opinion is irrelevant. Maybe he went too far with the heater joke, but whatever, it was funny and he'd live with it. Seems like a fun game to play, Clara shouted. But is lied right? Is it impossible to win? 'Cause that's just no fun. She was a fan of both sides being able to win. It would be nice to have a room that isn't so drafty, or constantly ripping my skirts. Elizabeth blushed. Guess she was a nice girl all the way through, barring the hungry succubus tendencies. I vote we don't change a thing about that. The perv was quickly kicked away by Kurori. If he didn't need the twerp for his plans, the boy would have been expelled. Oh well, all great groups have a black sheep, let Kamui be theirs. It is quite the uphill battle you expect us to fight. The challenge does make it appealing. Gomen gave his thoughts. Someone actively seeking a challenge. They would get along great. All right, I've heard your opinions, and now I ask that you follow me. Izuku spoke as they walked. He internally frowned. Still didn't feel right, Izuku. He wasn't that boy who put his own self down. Right now he wanted to be higher than ever. He started thinking about casualties and judging them accordingly. No, he wasn't Izuku, and a part of him hoped he'd come back when this was all said and done. He led the class to the outside courtyard, far removed from the main building of Beyblades. Beyond the little forest the school had for itself was a large, grandiose door covered in golden chains, locks and blocked by a velvet rope. Just being near the thing caused him to feel vindicated, a goal of such valor and worth. The gold was excessive, but only because the original king went there. And soon the throne would be his, and of course, the rest of his class would be well cared for, especially the Calamity Cult. Izuku turned on the others. All right then, let's use the vote. How many people voted for Ranov? Unsurprisingly, he noticed that most of the misfits raised their hands. Elizabeth, Kurori, Lyde, Skinder, Jazz, and Gomen. I figured as much. It just seemed fun. Lyde spoke, as everyone turned and looked at the group curiously. I probably could take some things and not have to worry about being visibly caught. Jazz grinned. His singing was nice. Elizabeth smiled, and Kurori shyly nodded along with her. I was calculating how fast the school's descension into chaos would be if he were to replace Miss Amory. Skinder gave his answer. It would have provided many warriors for me to face, Gomen said. Okay, then, raise your hand if you did anything else other than vote for Amory. Sabro, Clara, Az and Paisro raised theirs this time, leaving Kami out entirely. Figures he'd only vote for the only female candidate. I was sleeping. It wasn't worth it to vote for either, Paisro said, and everyone left it to that. As if I would vote for someone superior to me. I should be president, Sabnok shouted. Then why didn't you run? Kurori asked. The man's face let everyone realize he never thought of that. I was running late due to something and had no time to vote, Alice said guiltily. He shouldn't be. It was thanks to him they were able to track down the BSTRD of a scientist. And I voted for Izuku Kins. Awa, how cute. I have the ballot here. Awa, how naive, but sweet. Demons like you are the real deal, he stated to the group. You're allowed to do what you want and get away with it because everyone's afraid to take you on. He waited for them to look before opening up. It's been quite a while since he's been able to say this to anyone else. All men are not created equal. That was the first lesson I ever learned as a kid, when my supposed best friend at the time beat the SHT out of me for protecting a defenseless classmate. Nobody, no matter where in the world we come from, is immune to this fact. Everyone was taken back. Really, with how you always talk about friends, I didn't think it came from such a bad place. Jazz was the first to say something. No, it's just that Kachan was a super shitty friend. Oh, were they an ex-lover of sorts? Elizabeth asked. Clara, trash can, he shouted out. Oh God, the images were in his head. Fortunately, Clara was able to provide, being the sweet angel in devil's skin she was. Blog. Never, ever say anything like that again. That walking bomb on legs made my life hell, constantly beating me down, going as far as to try and actively kill me just for asking him if he needed help. Oh, so and but, got it. Jazz nodded. Apparently he had experience, look into that later, but it might explain his need to support those that would fulfill a role of looking up to him. The point is, I've been where everyone is now for nearly 10 years. Being the odd one out, being the kid who didn't belong anywhere, the kind of kid that teachers wanted to shove in a closet so I'd be out of the way of their better prospects. Everyone looked a bit downtrodden, but still didn't look all that convinced. Hey, at least you have us now, right? There's no shame in being a misfit here. Lyde tried to comfort him. There was no need though. You think I'm ashamed of being called a misfit? Far from it. All my life I've never stood out for anything. I was just a faceless body in the crowd, just a tiny pebble in a pond full of big fish. Being a misfit is the greatest honor I've ever had. He went on, everyone gaining a spark in their eyes. They call us misfits. No matter what we do, we're always going to stand out. So why not stand out in the best possible way? Now he was getting their attention. We're going to be the group of crazies that got the best possible spot without even really caring for it. Doesn't that sound like a bit of fun to rub into everyone's faces? Still not completely convinced. The ideals were set down, time to fulfill the materialistic portion of their views. Well, if you're still not interested, I guess we won't take part of the loads of valuable treasures, game rooms, soundproof rooms, sleeping rooms, libraries, dressing rooms, training rooms, and fluffed out seats of all high quality. They have what? Hook, line, and sinker. Exactly. It's the most prestigious classroom within the school, filled with glory and history, yet most of you could care less about it because your own longing, your own ideals trump all that any day. It's that kind of thinking that makes me proud to call all of you my precious friends. Their eyes widened, taken aback at such a notion. Makes sense, Alice's definition still rang through their heads, so let's run with that definition. So let's cause some chaos and take this school by the throat for its best classroom. Are you guys with me? The cheering clearly said yes. Now then, Jazz, our vanguard, you shall charge head first into this plan with the most vital of goals. Jazz grinned brightly, full of determination and hope. We'll be stealing from Kaligo-sensei. The look quickly faded away. You can't be serious, Izuku, the man will kill me, he shouted. I'll run distraction, and, he thought it over, his speech. Don't call me Izuku, call me Deku. It'll help run the title of defenseless Izuku in the glory of everyone, as a little knife in the back. He didn't miss the way Alice and Clara-chan flinched. He'd have to talk with them later. Naborius Kigo stood tall, even as the moronic students of his approached. Midoriya keeping that ever-present grin he's had on since their talk this morning, it honestly creeped him out. But he held it together and showed no reaction. Can I help you, brats? He asked. Oh, see, I came into a little thought process. Midoriya started, Andro letting out a grin. See, I figured you might not give us your stamp out of spite. So I thought, hey, he exclaimed, pulling out a familiar sticker. Why not just have your kohai ask you for it? No way in hell, he yelled out, reaching for the stamp. Screw composure, screw dignity, he wasn't going to deal with these menacing misfits, and that androgynous BSTRD at the same time. Come on, Kaligo-sensei, opera's not that bad when you get to know them. The smaller BSTRD had the audacity to laugh as he dodged him. Diamenet, how could someone who's never used his wings before be this graceful at using them? I do know them. And that's why I know they're the worst, he shouted, closing out the world to snatch the seal. The BSTRD just laughed and jumped back. Fine, fine, I won't summon them. The boy relented, walking away with Andro. That raised a question, why would he bring them out of everyone? They weren't the type to enjoy torment, compared to Shax or Velak. He was only in it for the money, or to take some. Hold it, he called out, the two freezing in place. He genuinely thought about reaching out and taking it back after a quick scan confirmed they took his book. But Midoriya wouldn't do this in his normal state, only his wicked phase, where he chose to try and advance their class. A class he had to give a chance to, regardless, he had a job to do. The familiar sticker, give it. That BSTRD wouldn't be summoned. Besides, they wouldn't be able to blackmail him. Nothing truly vital was in there. Those two boys were holding everything vital in her life. You actually have Kaligo-san's planner? Yep, his daily schedule, his thoughts on all faculty, even his interests and hobbies. The normally quiet yet rambunctious honor student held it out to her, waving it like she was a dog waiting for a treat. I'm pretty sure he'd be super grateful to whoever finds it and gives it back to him. Yes, he would, very much so. She could be thanked, even commended by Kaligo for giving it back to him. She could also learn so much about the man to help his day, of course, nothing else. All you've got to do is sign this slip and we'll give it to you. No questions asked, no gossip about the transaction spread. Andro grinned and handed her a paper. The one Kaligo was very against as well. These boys were truly devious, just as her precious she means intelligent co-worker was. On the one hand, she could aid him in his efforts to stop the misfits from claiming Royal One. But on the other hand, being thanked by her love her associate was practically being given the world itself. Now then, she must steel herself down, man up, and tell them no. I have to say. Oh, I've read through it, he even has thoughts on you. Say that I accept your proposal 100%. She was a weak woman. But that hardly mattered when she was also a happy one as well. She quickly stamped her permission slip and snatched the book out of their hands. I'll hold on to this for now, for research purposes. Sure you are. Midoriya rolled eyes, but shrugged. Huh, why do I get a sense of déjà vu here? Stolas would have given these appealing budding flowers the stamp anyway. Midoriya was such a nice kid, but here they were helping her and the gardening staff take care of the entire field. It was a major help to gain, and she was loving how quickly they could move forward with their growth. Is it over yet? Paisro sighed on his cloud as he waved his hand, clearing the field and making it ripe for gardening. This is more than my usual 2 minutes of work I usually do a day. Just keep the ground soft, and you'll be able to sleep the rest of the day away. Midoriya instructed, a rake and some hedge trimmers in his hands. Gomen, you have another section of weeds to cut about 3 yards to the left. Of course, Midoriya-san. My humble self shall cut these strong and invasive plants with mighty power and honor at my side. Such a high-spirited kid. Thanks a lot, Izuku-san. The gardeners showed their appreciation. This usually takes us the entire day, even with your usual help. That's right, Midoriya pitched in every now and again, usually when Garp or Sabro made a mess of things on the trees. Think nothing of it. Just wanted an excuse to stretch out my wings a little. Midoriya waved off the compliment. If I only knew what I was missing out on. The boy was absolutely giddy with his new form, like a kid riding a bike for the first time. Well, deal a deal. Here you go, Mew. She handed the boy a whole stack of papers. All the permission slips from me and every faculty member from my battler. Fresh Helgry tea? Yes, please, Paisro accepted, though Midoriya stopped him. Not now. Finish the section you promised to complete, then tea time. I'll buy you that extra soft pillow that just came out if you make the ground really fertile too. Such a strong worker too, even getting the laziest student to put in some effort. Were the other misfits actually capable of doing the same? Raim watched the two girls take multiple photos in, quite frankly, embarrassing outfits. Are you sure you girls want to be doing this? It'll be good for my weekly cover-up, but I don't want to pressure you into something you're not ready for. She spoke seriously. I would do this for free in all honesty. Roman 9 said, making her bust look larger with a squeeze. Nice work. And as long as I keep the mask, I'm fine doing this. Crosel spoke out. Can't believe I'm doing this for Izuku of all people. Already on a first-name basis, she teased while being half serious. Already found someone to use my seductin tactics on? Oh heck no, not touching that with a 10-foot pole. Crosel clarified. Just on a companion basis, maybe. I still don't know how this friend thing works. She shrugged. At most, I'm giving the boy sister status. And for me, he's been moving down recently. I have my eye on a rising star though. Roman 9 spoke, smirking in a way that made her feel proud as a teacher. Regardless, you'll make sure to stamp our paper, right? Of course. Can't leave my precious students hanging high and dry now, can I? She stamped the slip. Such bold behavior should be rewarded. Just imagine the attention students of the Royal One will get. They should stick together. The mix of one happy and one fear made a great contrast. Robin tapped his feet impatiently, waiting on the door in front of him to open. Any second now, any second now. Come on, the window was closing. Volak walked in, perfect. Hey there, Anabin, Izuku. Deku kins. She repeated, frowning a bit before shaking it out. Told me to hold this out. She held out the paper, perfect. Sure thing, he stamped it as fast as demonly possible. What you guys are doing is totally amazing. I'm all in. I'd give you more permission slips if it were possible, but just know I support you guys 100%. Thank you, Anibin-sensei, she smiled brightly. Awa, it warmed his heart. Maybe when we get the roly-poly one, Izu Deku-kins will stop being so scary looking. Hopefully so. Just don't tell Kaligo-sensei. For some reason he doesn't like it when I hang out with you guys or do fun stuff. Robin smiled. He just didn't get what was wrong with the guy. But he's right behind you. The next thing he knew, a hand was grabbing his face and he was being thrown out the window. Such a buzzkill. He really needed to loosen up. Fukras flipped through the pages furiously. She was so close to cracking time travel, she just needed one more key factor. Should she go for a frame of reference? No, that would imply she could be aware of time before her own existence, which she was not. Bodies kept passing by her throughout the day, but none of that mattered. She couldn't give her attention to anything else. Nothing else mattered at the moment. What if I work on the singularity's absence of space-time to allow travel? No, that would only allow information to travel through. Have you considered the idea that time travels differently when one exceeds the speed of light, overlaying the theory of relativity with reverse time? Said a voice that particularly stood out to her. Wait, that could work. It's a little unorthodox, but the physics of such a feat do tend to bend at a certain point. She laid her eyes on a lion-headed first year, all core if she recalled correctly. All you would need is someone with enough mana to reinforce the atoms to not separate at the high velocity, so your body remains intact. He spoke while looking at her with those big and knowledgeable eyes. Fascinating, but how would you consider the infinite energy required to compensate for such a velocity? She questioned, sliding the boy a drink. Well, I could chat some more and offer my idea of perpetual sustaining magic, if you'd be willing to sign. He spoke with a voice filled with experience and wisdom. Oh, that sounded very pleasant. With a bargain like that, I'd be a fool not to. She giggled, placing her seal. Now, how does one go about making perpetual sustaining magic? Truly a tale for the ages. But for now, we must discuss the mechanics of a certain device a colleague of mine calls a flux capacitor. Oh yeah, talk smart to her, baby. Tonight was going to blow her mind. Miss Fukras has given her stamp to one of the misfits, sir, said one of the younger staff. Bah, he couldn't believe his ears. That old harlot never gave care for anything other than knowledge. He spoke. They must have tricked her. Wisdom is a road that can be traveled endlessly, the summit only being possible by the strongest of us all. He spent this entire journey alone, and look where he is now. It's going to take a lot more than simple intelligence to gain my seal. That's our Morax, the brightest and most stern among all the staff. The praise of the young warmed his heart, but they were merely stating facts. Ahem. A cough drew their attention. The bird student came, patted the seat next to him. It was a trap, obviously, but he wouldn't fall for it. Whatever this mere child had in store for him, he would decline all of it. There was nothing this boy could ever offer him in this world, and there was nothing he craved or wanted. The boy reached up and seemed about to whisper something, but there was nothing the man could be tempted with that could. When you set the air conditioners to 80 degrees after 70, women have a tendency to flip their skirts subconsciously. Holy SHT. Was this real? He noticed they never wore skirts when it got too hot, preferring shorts. You are truly wise beyond your years. The old man sneezed a little BLD, before quickly stamping his seal. It appears this old fool has much more to learn about this little world we live in. A true gentleman knows he can't walk this path alone. The wise young owl nodded. There's plenty more to discuss between us intellectuals. I look forward to learning from you, great MSTR. Ah, a true student of the arts. He let out a haughty laugh as the others looked confused. He hasn't been this excited to train in years. Let the training begin then. Gloves. Right, sir. Glasses polished? Done. Chainsaw? Unnecessary, but good to be prepared. Bleach? Locked in the cabinet, because I feel you two are going overkill. Inko bluntly stated. Seriously, Papa Opera, I can appreciate your clueless charm at times, but you're really making a mountain out of a molehill here. Inko, darling, I'm afraid you don't fully comprehend what's happening here. He adjusted his suit. Clearly, a terrible curse or burden has fallen upon our beloved Izuku-kun, and this, it is my duty as his grandpa to set him on the right path again. Also, here, molehills do become mountains at times. The third one from the left outside the window, for example. Opera clarified. Okay, I'm just going to be blunt, don't do anything. What? Has the curse affected his dear daughter as well? Izuku is doing fine now, and he's the most confident I've ever seen him. Do not take this away from him. Inko, the boy just grew horns out of nowhere a few days ago. This isn't normal for him. Aren't you worried that he won't be the precious innocent little child that you've known forever? Both he and Opera found themselves forced from their feet, and their collars clenched into Inko's hands. Listen here, dear Sullivan-san, just a few days ago I almost got devoured by one of my baby's friends, and you hardly seem to bat an eye at the idea of him constantly be around Asmodeus and other similar threats, and when he finally has the power to blend in and fight back properly, you want to take it all away. We see your point, but remember, he called you mother. That alone seemed to shock the woman. Good work, Opera. We're not getting rid of the confidence, we're merely making sure he crosses no lines, along with making sure the source of this transformation is safe. Yeah, and maybe get rid of his scary scowl while we're at it. He needed to emphasize the most crucial part of this operation. How can he smile for people if he's stuck giving them an angry look, like this morning? Hey, Grandpa? What? Izuku-kun was here? Skipping school. He's become a no-good delinquent. Now he's going to run off and join some biker game somewhere and only come back when he knocks up some no-good second-rate hussy. Would you please sign my permission slip? Izuku, we need to talk. His words were cut off by the utter innocent look he was displaying. So vulnerable and pleading with big puppy dog eyes, absolutely adorable. But so sad too. How could he get rid of this sadness? We're trying to transfer our really bad classroom into a better one, so we can learn more. Do you mind stamping this, please? There was no hesitation as he stamped the thing 3 times over, and was returned with a cheery smile. Thank you, Grandpa, you're the best. My precious grandson has returned. What was he worried about? Izuku-kun was still the same sweet little boy, no matter what form he took. Sir, I must implore you. Opera was held back by Inko. Miss Inko, I'm only trying to look out. Being this confident means he isn't shy around girls anymore. I want grandchildren too, you know? Ah, his daughter was taking after him, his grandson was back to normal, and Opera was terrified. All was right with the world. Clara watched as Deku-kins talked with everyone with big and fancy plans. He still talked all big and complicated like Izuku-kins, but this wasn't Izuku-kins. Deku-kins didn't have Izuku-kins' approachable aura. It always felt like Deku-kins was surrounded by fire, threatening to burn her if she made a wrong move. Deku-kins was actually surrounded by a lot of paper right now, looking more and more exhausted day by day. She didn't even think he was sleeping at night now. Clara, you all right? Az came up to her as Carolus said something to Deku-kins. I don't like Deku-kins. About half the class turned to her in shock at the idea. Others ignored it as they talked to Deku-kins. He looked at her, then at the guy who took over their friend. I agree that something is unsettling about this, but deep down he's still Izuku, just different right now. It's a wicked phase, it'll be over. But what if it isn't? Izuku-kins is different from everyone else. What if going scary and pointy is permanent for him? What if we lose him? Our best friend, she muttered. I was supposed to keep him smiling, but I don't want him to keep this smile where he looks like he's about to eat me. He looked so much like him these days, like Amy. There's nothing we can do, Clara. All we can do is... Alice, Clara-chan, can we chat outside? Deku-kins asked the pair, who looked at each other before following him out. The guy looked tired, like he'd been playing too long without the snacks she sometimes gave. I want to thank you for sticking around. I'm aware I'm not myself now. It feels weird to know you'd care about something but at the moment find your values shifted. Is that what a wicked phase should feel like? He asked the pair. Deku, the fact of the matter is, you're not yourself. Az was finally talking smart. You're as bold as ever, but threatening those upperclassmen, the way you spoke about those burns, you talk like this is something you thought long and strong about. I mean, Deku-kins looked thoughtful. It kind of is, I guess. I sometimes have dark thoughts, but I just shove them away. Most of the time I just feel guilty, other times I think logically about the safety of others, and then there are times I just feel weak. But I don't know how to describe it. The voice in my head telling me good and bad is gone, and right now all I want to do is make sure everyone I care about is safe. regardless of the cost to myself or others. That's not who Izuku-kins is, she had to get it through his thick pointy head. Izuku-kins is always there to save everyone. He always stayed nice to Az, even when he was a mega jerk. He didn't curse Aggie Teach even when he didn't like him. He became Karoris's friend even when she thought about stabbing him. She brought Deku-kins in a hug. I want Izuku-kins back. I want my best friend back. I know I'm not Izuku, he said. I have his beliefs, his values, but this chain that held him back is gone. And I just really hope I'm going to get it back, he said, pulling them both into a hug, wings and tail wrapping around them. I'm scared, honestly, that this wicked phase doesn't end. Izuku, I'm sorry, I'm so sorry. Az, for the first time ever, gave everything he had in his body to give someone a hug. I claim to be your friend, yet I've struggled to change who I am. I still think about being superior to others, about trying to best you, because I know you're better than I'll ever be. No, I know I'll never be anyone's superior. This form's the only time I'll ever be like everyone else. He started crying. They looked more painful than his usual tears. I know I'll always be Deku deep down. I don't want you to hate yourself, Deku-kins/Izuku-kins. I want you to love yourself, like I do, Clara said. They just spent the rest of the time hugging as he let it out. It was nice and cozy, and they felt better after. Thanks, like I said, just hope it ends soon. Well, a wicked phase is just releasing all the stress one picked up during their evil cycle. And you haven't accumulated that much, right? As question caused Deku-kins to look a little paler. Right? Oh my, look at the time, Deku-kin said, faking looking at a watch. We need to move on. Clara-chan, I need your help. He smiled, but this time it felt more real. I want you to make a crazy and confusing board game barely anyone will ever understand. You got it, Deku-kins. She still hated the name, but now she didn't hate Deku-kins himself much. If Deku-kins was a piece of Izuku-kins, then she'd be sure to love every part of Izuku-kins with everything she had. Love? She paused while saying that word out loud. I love Izuku-kins. She had to say it again to be sure. I love Izuku-kins. I love Izuku-kins. I love Izuku-kins. Yeah, we know that already. She saw Lied-kun and Karoris staring at her, now all alone. That's part of the reason why I stopped at just being his friend. Not a smart move getting in between two maniacs. Two maniacs? She asked, and immediately understood. Yeah, me and Izuku-kins are maniacs. She had no clue what the pity looks were for, but whatever. So alright folks, that's all for today. Stay tuned for part 8. Do subscribe, like and share for more such videos. Also check out the story and authors 616 MCU and Hazzard Overflow on FANFICTIONnet and AO3. Press the bell icon to be notified first on release. See you in the next video. Till then, goodbye.